One. What's up, guys? Studfit here. We now have episode 46 of Kart Talk. I can't believe we're at 46 episodes. What an insane ride we've had. I'm joined by two of my Super Stud members. We got Issa and Hero. How are you guys doing?
Hey,
It's good to
thanks for
have you
having
guys
us.
back. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been forever. I think the last time I was on Car Talk was like 5 months ago, so it feels like an eternity, for God's sake. But it's great to be back. So
Well, no, I appreciate that, man. You re-upped here recently, and Issa, you've been consistent with me for the last 6 months now or so. Congratulations on that, and thanks again for all the support. Love you, man. How you been?
I've been great. Just enjoying these wonderful tours that we've been having in Mario Kart Tour. But we do have a lot of talk. We have a lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about. I want to introduce a couple of my other friends, all of which you have been on before. So this is, I believe, the second appearance for the next three people I'll introduce. I'll start with you, Cranebo. Welcome back, man, from Ohio. How you been, man?
I'm great. Thanks again for having me again. Nice to see some of you guys again and meet some of you. Looking forward to this. Hopefully I can provide some kind of commentary with all these high level players on here. So we'll see.
No, we're expecting you to come in hot. You're coming in with the hot takes, Cranebo. I know
All
it.
right.
I will say though, one of the things I was looking forward to the most about this episode, no offense, Hero, Issa, Cranebo, is that we've been playing this for a couple weeks now. To have Wootmoo and Tyler join us as they just finished number 1 for Wootmoo and number 3 for Tyler in the top 10 in all comp ranking. Congratulations and welcome back. How you guys doing?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Yeah.
Feeling pretty good, yeah.
Good. We're going to get into
Tired
a
from the
lot
grinding,
about
but
what you guys learned. We'll get a lot into what you guys had experienced and what it takes to be number 1 and number 3 in the world. I still can't believe how insane that is. I've never been top 10, so I'm always envious of those who get it. Kudos to you guys. Takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of planning, takes a lot of investment. We'll get into all of that. However, we have to start with a nice icebreaker. Now, for those of you who might have seen the tour reveal, for those who are watching it now on Saturday morning, those who watched it yesterday, we have a Bowser tour coming up, and we got 4 koopaling me's. So the icebreaker is, who is your favorite koopaling? And we'll actually start with the super studs. I'll start with my boy Issa. Issa, who's your favorite koopaling in the Mario universe? Koopaling.
I would say Morton. Is that how you say his name? Yeah, because when around the time I first started playing the game, he was like to me he was like a really good normal driver because of the giant banana. And I know I think most of us agree that giant banana is a really fun skill to have. So and he was just like he was in a lot of actually rank mode tracks as well. So he was definitely like the normal driver you would at the time. Was it double uncap or triple uncap?
Well, so
But
I think the one thing for him is that I think back in the day he only had like 2 tracks before
mhm,
they gave him more tracks. But the thing was he always had a Morton Cup. And so he was always boosted from that second tier up to that first tier. And that's when we got to really enjoy Morton. Unfortunately, it hasn't been quite as useful here lately. But yeah, back in the day, man, he was all over the place because of that boost. We didn't have Tanuki Mario Cup like we do now.
but yeah, I'll go with him. So I'm actually looking forward to getting his new suit.
Which does look like we'll have to wait a tad bit, right? He's not coming next tour per se, but Hero, boy, what is your favorite koopaling in the Mario universe?
I mean, I don't have a favorite, but if I have to pick a koopaling, I would say Larry, just because I mean, why not? I think he's one of the coolest ones. However, and obviously because of Larry 98, which big shout out to him. And it's really
Yes.
yeah, it's really amazing on how he's doing his sheet and stuff and continuing to provide us with the rundown and stuff. So major shout out to him. But yeah, I'm excited for the Larry Me racing suit, so that'll be pretty cool as well. I think everyone likes it, so it's pretty cool design, not gonna lie.
Yeah, so it looks kind of like a 2D like Mohawk style from what it appears. But yeah, huge shout out to Larry 98. We're a big fan of Larry 98, and honestly, that's my answer as well for the same exact reason. Just because I honestly I don't know if I just didn't get too much exposure. I mean, obviously we had like the Koopalings as a part of like at the end of like one of Mario Kart or the Mario World, we have to like he has to like they throw their wands, you got to jump on their head, and I don't know, they all look kind of the same to me, but I've grown an affinity for Larry 98, and so yeah, for me, same answer, Larry. Let's go, Larry 98. We'll hit up Crainbow. Well, who's your favorite Koopaling, man?
You know, I don't I don't know if I have a favorite, and I'm not gonna say Larry because you guys are saying that, or Morton. You know, I probably, as when I was young and playing like Super Mario 3, that's what I was trying to, rather than just thinking of the game of Mario Kart. I think back then I liked Iggy and Lemmy the best because they both had like crazy eyes and were kind of goofy. So I think that's I'll go with Iggy if I'm picking one. Yeah, no idea. I don't remember the order they showed up in Mario 3, but you know, I'll go with Iggy.
Hey, can't go wrong with Iggy. Yeah, it's fun to say. We'll go with Wiltmo because you're ahead of Tyler, and at least in all cup ranking world. So we'll start with you. Who's your favorite Koopaling?
Well, honestly, I've always hated the Koopalings. I never really like cared about them, but after playing Mario Kart Tour a lot, I guess I kind of grow into liking Morton and Bowser Jr. Mostly because I kind of like Bowser as a character, and Bowser Jr. is like tied with him as well, and he's also like cute and everything. But I also grown to like Morton because I used him so much back then. Like as Isa said, like always on the Calamari deserts when it kept cycling and ranked, and he was always like there to save like everyone. I don't know, and he was also easy to level up, and he had a great skill. So, but
Yeah,
other than that,
I'm looking up right now the Super Mario wiki for Koopalings, and it looks like I don't see Bowser Jr. on there. I don't think he's eligible.
Yeah, I don't like people say that he's like considered like Bowser's minion and everything, and like he's a Koopaling, but other people say that he doesn't. I don't really know, but I kind of just consider him as one of them.
Okay, all right.
But
it is pretty cool to see this wiki, man. It's like they got they own ships with their heads on it and stuff. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but yeah, I do not say Bowser Jr. on here, but yeah, Larry, Morton, Wendy, Iggy, Roy, Lemmy, and Ludwig. So Tyler, I think yours is Wendy, right? I assume it's got.
No, it's Roy.
It's Roy. Yeah, tell us
Yeah.
why Roy is your favorite.
He's just cool. He's just a cool Koopaling, like his sunglasses and everything. I like his aesthetic, the way he looks too. He's really cool.
Dude, I gotta like a guy wearing pink, dude. That is rocking it, man.
Pink is your favorite.
Yeah.
I do love some pink, as you can tell, but I still think I like the Morton's the star in his eye. I think that's under. People aren't talking about that enough. Like, how baller is that? That's like, you know, some like rock star level dress up there that you have to appreciate. So good. All right, we got a lot to talk about. So I won't spend too much time talking about stars on eyes because we have two top 3 players in all cup ranking from last tour. We have Shrooping 2.0, 3.0, 5.0, who knows at this point in time. We have a lot to talk about, the glitches and other stuff going on in the game. And then we still are in a city tour, so there's lots to talk about being in Athens and what's going on there and how we're treating cities. And then finally, we have a Bowser tour coming up and all kinds of crazy things going on there. And how do we allocate resources for all these Mii suits? How do we approach not having any potential alt in the way of a driver? A lot going on. So we'll jump into maybe just looking at last tour. We'll start with you, Wootmoo and Tyler, and I'm not going to make the fans wait for an hour and a half before we get into this because I do want to dive in a lot into what your experience was going for top 10. Both you and Tyler, I'll start with you, Wootmoo. But Tyler, I mean, feel free to cut him off and say, I don't know, you totally stole that one scrap for me and whatever. I want you guys, this is your experience here to share with the community because it took a lot of time. start us all the way back to what 3 or 4 months ago, probably when you started saving. And tell also the community kind of around with top 100 and like at what point in time did you decide one day I'm gonna go to be the number 1 player in the number 3 player in the whole entire world?
Yeah. So I'm gonna I don't really know exactly where to start, but I'm gonna skip all the way back to like when I first was on the podcast and Toad versus Toadette tour around that time.
Perfect.
That was like when I like that was my first ever real ACR push. And that's when I was like when I just got into ER and everything, and I wanted to prove that like I can get good runs and get a good sheet and everything. But midway through the tour and everything, I was actually in like the first spot. I was in like number 1, like as I was grinding, and I was like, wow, it would be so cool if like one day I was actually like I ended up like finally in that spot, like as the number 1 player. So I kind of just like I kept that like thought like in the back of my head for such a long time playing the game. Like maybe one day I'll get there, but I doubt it because I'm not a heavy spender. I only have the gold pass and everything. I buy a pack very once in a while. But and I also made really bad investments, as you know. Like I invested in Rosaline alts, but I'm also like I'm like kind of like a 50-50 follower, like with the meta. Like 50% of me like follows the meta. The other half of me follows like my favorite items. So it kind of like ruined my account in a way, but it also like made my account good at the same time because of like the coin box investments in Boomerang. So fast forward like to Cat 2022 tour. I had no tickets at all. Like I had no tickets in my inventory to spend on anything. But I really want like I noticed that my inventory and like
what month was that? Because I'm trying to remember which Cat tour. We had like 5 this year.
It was the Cat 22 tour, but I forget. It was like when Cat Mario and Luigi debuted and Baby Park.
It was back in June.
So like last summer?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 10 months ago. So yeah,
I was like,
crazy.
Yeah, I had no tickets though in that tour, but my loadouts were like pretty decent. So I entered it in like a sheet and I was like just on the cutoff of like the top 10. So I was like, maybe I can try to like push for like the exact number that I need for a top 10 placement. And so but the only problem is that I had no time to play. I only had like because I worked on weekdays, so I only had like 6 hours to play and grind, and then that's like basically like no time and like not enough time for like
working on a track grinding. Yeah, no time for all cup ranking. Yeah, I know how exactly how you.
Yeah, because only like 6 hours to play, and then you get like the badge bots grind off, and all of a sudden you're tired, and then all of a sudden you got to go to bed after like getting like 2 tracks done. But then and then okay, so I'm losing track. Sorry.
Sorry. You're like, oh, I had to work on the weird. Yeah, that's like every single human, except for some awesome people that.
Yeah.
So sorry, I cut you.
Yeah.
About how you had this thought process, you realized that you didn't have a lot of time during the Cat tour.
Yeah. But then I pretty much like grinded like to like a 98%. But then I kind of got stuck on some of the tracks. I was like, I can't get these tracks done. I don't have enough time. I'm starting to panic. I'm losing like motivation quickly because I'm not going to be able to make it in time. And the estimate started going like the cutoff started rising, and I had no tickets to spend to make my inventory better to reach that estimate. And I got really upset. I was like, I spent all this time like and getting all these really good runs, and it just kind of just went to waste. Like I still got a top 100 and good placement, but I really wanted like that one top 10 badge. It was like for once, and then it didn't happen. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna start hoarding tickets. And before that, I noticed that people got top 10 badges by hoarding tickets, and I was like, I feel like if I did the same exact thing, I would be able to get a top 10 placement. So from that day on, like after that, which is the Metropolitan Tour, which like Chef Rosalina debuted, I invested to her, and then I said, after this, no more ticket spending. So after that I didn't spend a single ticket for many like weeks. I was doing fine in ranked for a while, but then after that I was constantly like getting 10th place, like 5th place, 2nd place. Like I was never like really winning ranked because of me saving tickets and I had nothing to invest in. Then I was also like seeing all these people like invest in gold truck and gold PD and everything. I really wanted to do the same, but I was like, if I actually want a top 10 badge, I need to stay focused on my main goal and not look at what everyone else is doing and stay on my path. And so after I got to like 50 tickets of each, I kind of just like forgot about investing in everything. And I said, I'm already like a quarter of the way there. I might as well just stay like on this route and then not start spending tickets on rank. And then people were telling me like, why are you tanking your ranked all the time? You can just spend tickets and upgrade good items, and then you can use in the top 10. But it's like it's not guaranteed to be used then, like 10 months from now. So then fast forward like a couple months later, I was at like 100 tickets each, and I said, if I'm saving this many tickets, I want it to be a good badge that I actually want. So I was saving for a Rosalina badge at first, but I said if it's a really good tour and a cool character as well and a good badge, I might as well just do that instead. So I was also like basically every tour, I was entering my my inventory, my tickets, to check how my estimate was like progressing, like how I would place in the top 10 if I did it that tour. And my estimate was like growing every tour with the more tickets I had. And eventually I was starting to like get tempted to like do an ACR run on some tours like the holiday, because my estimate was like way over the cutoff, and I was like, oh, I can make this one my ACR push. But then at the same time I didn't like the badge, I didn't like the investments. That's why you have to keep in mind as well the investments in the badge and if you actually want to do those upgrades. But then I'll skip all that because I'm just rambling at this point.
I think you bring up a good point. If you think about like some of the winter stuff that was happening, a lot of them put on ice literally over the last couple of months. I mean, we had a very short like winter window where if you invested in like all these slaves and all these like ice crystals and stuff, and then here we are like not using any of that stuff at all for the last 3 or 4 months. So that part actually is really important. Yeah, exactly. We always kind of talk about these seasonal items. So I do think that is really important. So I'm kind of glad that you waited. I mean, some of these items that you invested in could be really useful. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, as you said that, I would have had to do like Larry to level 8 and everything, and the Cream Dasher and Cream Mark 2 to like level 8, and I didn't want to do those upgrades. They were like really bad. And so I said I'm just gonna wait longer. Maybe a Rosalina all will just come out of nowhere, or they'll recycle a Rosalina badge. But then all of a sudden, just randomly one day, like I wake up and people are like talking about Poochie. I'm like, what? This is like my most wanted character that I used to talk about a long time ago, and I did not see the day that he would actually come into the game, because like I used to talk, like I don't know if you remember Studfit, the JC Arena server.
JC Arena.
I used to always talk about Poochie. Yeah, I used to always talk about Poochie all the time on the server. Like, yeah, I used to talk about Poochie all the time being added, but then people were always like, he's never gonna happen. Stop talking about him. He's not. It's never gonna happen. Like it's just an obscure character that they're never gonna add, and it's a dog. So why would they put a dog in a cart? And I'm like, so I just kind of like forgot that it would ever happen, and then I just kind of didn't talk about it anymore. But then all of a sudden I see people talking about Poochie. I'm like, there's no way. I feel like I'm dreaming right now. Like I need to wake up, because like I'm in a dream, and it's like it's not real. And then I went to bed and I woke up again and people are still talking about Poochie. And I'm like, okay. And I started saying in Twitter, I said, if this is actually Poochie, I'm making this my top 10 push, because I've always wanted him in the game for such a long time. And I don't want to miss an opportunity to make him like at the max level, and also do an ACR push with him, because I've always wanted him as a driver. I also wanted Luma as well, but I doubt she would ever happen, but maybe it could happen now. But people were also saying since it's a Yoshi tour, he's not going to be on the badge. But the thing is, Yoshi is also one of my favorite characters in the game, in like the Mario universe. I used to always use him in like the Nintendo 64 racing game, Super Mario racing games and everything. And so I didn't mind if he was on the badge, but I would have preferred Poochie, but it's okay. But I was saying like no matter what skill Poochie gets, I'm gonna max him out. No matter he could have bubble, he could have anything, and I'll still max him out and make sure that he's in my ACR push. Yeah. But I was also hoping that he'd be lucky 7 because I never really liked the skill, but then I started growing more towards liking it because I was tired of using giant banana all the time and coin box and boomerang, and I wanted to try another like the blast plus skill, try to like relearn it and like it. And the last one I did was Nabbit, so that's just a long time ago. And I was like one of the only people hoping he was lucky 7 while everyone was hoping he was giant banana. And thankfully he was lucky 7, so I was able to max him out. Nice. And so that made the ACR push easier. So then I'll just talk about the ACR push like
actually, how about do you mind if we take a time out? I'd love to hear Tyler's lead up at all.
Yeah.
If there is any, just about like leading up to the tour, reaction to the tour.
Yeah.
Were you following along, or was Poochie at all on your radar? How are you feeling about Poochie leading up to this tour and going into that reveal?
Well, I'm a big Yoshi fan, so like I like everything Yoshi related. And I was joking with my friends about like I was doing a tour speculation thing in one of the servers we're in, and I was like, what if Poochie comes? What if he has lucky 7 or something? That'd be cool, right? Everyone was like, you're crazy, that's not gonna happen, that's never gonna happen. I was like, you know what, watch, it might happen, because he's on the Yoshi's Island track and the booster course pass in Mario Kart 8. He's in the background, like he's modeled already in the game. So I was like, maybe he'll be in tour. That's possible, guys, don't call me crazy. And then it actually happened. I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. And I knew I was gonna go for anyways because I like Yoshi. I was saving for that as anyways. But the tour before that, the year before that, when Gold Egg came out, I didn't save at all because I was awful at saving tickets, and I could only take Gold Egg to 5 because I hadn't saved any of my tickets. And I was still able to get top 100 that tour, but I was hoping one day that the next Yoshi tour I'd be able to go for top 10. And with all the Miis happening, I started thinking, this is never gonna happen. There's so many Miis. I'm not collecting these Miis. I didn't collect any of the Miis when they came out. I skipped every single one except for the Yoshi Mii suit. So I had to go back and collect every Mii that I missed. I had to spend 100 rubies. I think I bought a couple of them discounted, but I spent full price for almost every single Mii. So I had to go back and do that all through like the end of last year, which was obviously a lot of rubies being spent. But
let me ask you about that. So you were thinking that there was going to be a cutoff, or there was going to be a max at some point, and then at what point in time did you flip the switch? Because that is actually something we don't talk. We've never had anyone on Kart Talk who has been just like who fought against the wave.
I think it was like November of last year. I think that's when I started getting them because I was like, Yoshi tours coming like April, like 6 months. It was like a 6-month mark for like April, like when the tour would come. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try and get all the Miis. I'm gonna try my best to save. I'm gonna see if I can do it. And I got all the Miis. I think it was like beginning of the year, like mid-January or something. I had all the Miis, and I was like, I'm gonna level my gold Mii suit. I'm gonna max it. And that was the last big investment I made before I started saving. I maxed my gold Mii suit. I 8 quad capped it, and it carried me through like all of the ranks. I didn't have to spend any tickets. Like it carried me for like because it kept getting rank buffs constantly rank buffs, and I didn't have to spend any tickets. It's like I think I saved only for 2.5 months. I think how long did you save, Woot? Like 9 months or something? How long did you save?
10 months. 10 months.
Okay.
A little over 10 months. Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason why I believe I was able to get third was because it was a Yoshi tour. I already had things leveled, like the tracks in that tour. Like I had like PD Prawn at 8 triple, and he was used like 10 times that tour. So like that was already an investment I had going into the tour. So I didn't have to worry about leveling him. So I had 50, 70, 50 tickets, and I think you had 150 or so of each or something. So you had triple the tickets I did.
Yeah, I have a picture.
That's insane. Oh yeah, if you
watch, I had 145 driver. Oh, sorry.
You said 145.
I had 145 drivers, 138. Yeah, 138 kart, 138 glider, And then for caps, I had only 87 driver, 140 cart, and then 149 glider, and plus the cart cap tickets from ranked. So that was like 147. So
yeah, I only had 30. I only had 30 of each cap. 30 of each cap. So I didn't have that many tickets at all.
Yeah, he
I
didn't have
thought
a
I
lot of
thought I
caps.
was screwed, honestly, because I barely had tickets at all. But I guess the Yoshi stuff saved me. Like having Yoshi circuit, like
Yeah,
PD Piranha had like, I think
your verse
was
was
it
really
9
carried
tracks he
over
had
to
last
that tour.
tour, I think. PD Piranha had like 9 tracks or something.
So
Something crazy.
yeah, it was also the PD me that took some of his
Yeah,
tracks.
the
like,
PD me
away.
was the one of the 2 high-end items that I maxed out that tour that carried me. So
Yeah.
He was all over the place. I got burnt out. I got a little burnt out on the boomerang myself.
yeah.
Wumu, let me go back to you. So during this whole time you were saving, how did you end up getting the gold me suit at least? Like how did you treat
Yeah,
him?
I got the gold me suit. I forget when I got it, but I eventually did get it, and then I just left it at level 1 for such a long time that I did the question block me suit, but then I never did the gold me suit. Surprisingly, I don't know why I didn't. I just felt like I need to save tickets. I need to save tickets. I can't spend anything, and I had that mindset for such a long time, and then I carried it over to the Mii's as well. And also, I want to add on to what Tyler said about the Mii's. I started not buying them eventually, and then I was like, oh my god, if I'm gonna go for top 10, I need to buy the Mii's because otherwise everyone's gonna have all these maxed out Mii's like Kareem and everything, and then I'm not gonna have anything like maxed out already. I'm not gonna have the advantage like everyone else does. So I started spending my rubies on only tickets in the shops and Mii's. That's all I did. I never bought like any of the cool new drivers or anything or carts or gliders, unless they were like meta. But
which by the way, so
yeah,
because by the way, I kept trying to cut this undercurrent. There was this undercurrent of people that were shouting out question mark block me suit and just like saying, this guy's like he's got more exclusives. He's better than the gold me suit. I said, guys, I get that. I understand he's very valuable, but the gold me suit will have a completely different buffing period. He will transcend like what we know to happen right now. Like we're in the moment of like where everyone's kind of buffed relatively evenly. So I kept shouting that out. So I do want to take a time out here. Cranbo, Issa, Hiro, I want to get you guys included. What questions do you have leading up to? Because there's a lot that probably happened between like different things that happened in the game, different time periods where these guys were saving. Do you have any questions for these guys as they were just preparing for the calm before the storm?
I mean, Tyler, your favorite track must have been Choco Island 1R, wasn't it? I mean, you love that track, didn't you?
No, I hate Choco Island track so much.
Yeah.
Oh god.
I both saw them do the grind, and it was really fun, but at the same time, like they were very stressed out, like getting, especially with the boombox tracks. Like
I had 25 boombox tracks to do.
Wow.
I hate it.
You have PD and PD me.
Yeah, and Kangaroo Yoshi
and Kangaroo.
too. Yeah, so it's crazy.
Yeah, so let's jump into that. You guys can kind of jump back and forth if you want to. We'll go back to Wumu how to start just for consistency's sake, but talk just a little bit about the actual grinding of the top 10. Take as long as you want. We're here for 2+ hours. I mean, I don't mind running over, but like I do want to get this experience because there's a lot that goes on. We kind of covered the savings. You now just everything clicked, right? So I think when it comes to Tyler, you knew like Easter was going to be. You probably reserved time off of work. Wumu, you were in a shock. You probably had to request time off of work relatively.
Oh yeah, I gotta tell you that I actually saved my. Not only did I save my tickets, but I also saved my vacation.
PTO. That's awesome.
I saved my vacation, and I said I made up a lie to I said I'm gonna be going out to Pennsylvania and like going to Hershey Park and everything. But no, I was at home.
Don't say it was like my grandmother died or something. You're like, I have to imagine that.
Yeah.
2 weeks off.
Yeah, I literally specifically saved my vacation for this moment because I was not gonna deal with juggling work and sleep and ACR at the same time, and I said might as well because I'm not gonna use my vacation for anything else. And I don't really like want to go anywhere anyway. So I was like, I'm gonna just save it for these 2 weeks, call up for work for the whole tour, I did eventually go out some places and use my vacation and to just have some time off during the grind to clear my head. But most of the time I was grinding ACR, trying to get every single point out of the tracks. But I'll go back to the moment like right before the tour started. So I was constantly watching the tour over and over again, wondering like what my coverage would be for all the tracks, worrying about like, oh, my cart, there's no good carts this tour. There's only two, which is the Huff and Puffin and the bright ribbon glider. Cart. I mean, sorry. And those are trash. Like those have the tiniest hit boxes in the game. I was not going to max them out, so I said I'm hoping that the carts that I have to upgrade will actually be like meta and good, and also carts that I wanted to plan on upgrading. And one specific cart was the Moo off-roader. I've always wanted to do this cart, obviously, because my name is Moo, and and it kind of like ties it with me. And I always wanted to upgrade that cart, but I was also holding off until a top 10 push. Thankfully, that was one of the carts that I had to upgrade. But when the tour started, instantly I was talking to like a turtle dude and waiting for a DKR to reach the sheet, and I wanted to like give them a shout out, like Rashid, a turtle dude, and DKR. Like without their resources, this wouldn't have been possible. I would have lost track. I would have not been able to get my estimate as high as it was from a turtle dude's optimizer. It's the best thing ever. And Rashid, like with his constant ACR projection upgrades, updates, they're so on point. They keep me from not getting too worried about the cutoffs. Makes me feel like I'm gonna get it. I just need to pass this score and then go even higher than that, and then I'll get it. And then DKR's sheet, it just keeps everything so organized. It lets me know where I have to go back. Yeah, I had to give him a quick shout out real quick. Like
yes, let's go.
It wouldn't have been possible.
No, honestly, we always give these guys a shout out, but we cannot shout these guys out enough because honestly, like I can't even imagine what playing the game would be like without some of these resources. And so
exactly.
Huge shout out to a turtle dude, DKR, Rashid, Antelev and his sheet, Rock and Block, and Ben McGurbs, and everyone who's still doing stuff, Ben as well. No, it's just these guys, it's a grind to do it every 2 weeks. Even if it's just like an hour or two. Sam 70 IoT, whatever everything that they're doing, like it actually is kind of a pull from real life. Like it can be tough.
Yeah.
Like it really helps because every tour somebody's doing something. Every tour someone's going for something. And so you never know what tour that is. Huge shout out to these guys because they go in every single tour. It's real, like they relentlessly provide us the goods. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah. So when the grind started, it was a little rough. It was like very, very rough. So I did all my upgrades. I started leveling up everything, but there was a lot of tracks where I couldn't start that I had unlocked. I had no quick tickets. I was using them to refresh the shop for the Blazing Eagle, which is not coming in. I was getting worried about that.
I remember that.
But I was
I remember the panic you had.
Yeah, I was literally panicking because that thing was not showing up. And I
remember it. Like I even DM'd you saying I got the Blazing Eagle and you can get it too. And it happened.
Yeah, and I got it right at the same time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh God.
How many days into the tour did you get it?
Oh, what'd you say?
How many days into the tour did it take you to finally pull it in your
It was like the 5th or 6th day, I forget. It was like during the week 1. But the first 3 days, like I was like the first day I did the ACR sheet, and thankfully the carts were really amazing. That I suggested me. First it was telling me to max the Google buggy to like level 8 quad cab. I was not gonna do that at all. But then I removed that from the sheet, and then the upgrades were literally amazing. It was like the blue crawly cart, the yellow off-roader, the Moomoo off-roader, the combo cruiser, the lightning streamliner, and then I had the flower cart, which is not a really amazing cart for value, but I always want to do this because the flower cart.
Flower card. What is flower card? Oh,
It's
Volendam.
Rosalina
Volendam's
Volendam.
card.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just talking about now.
Yeah.
It's a big
It's
hitbox.
not really the best in value.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really the best in value, but it has a big hitbox, and I've always wanted to upgrade it just because it's part of Volendam's set.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I was gonna do that upgrade anyways. Like, even though it's not that great, I just wanted to do it anyways. The drivers were also great. I had to do the PD me suit to max level, even though I didn't really want to do it because it kills a lot of my investments. I did the gold me suit to max level, gold charge and chuck. All these upgrades that I've been waiting to do, I finally got to do them now, and that's pretty much like it's worth it because you can finally do it. There was also 2 upgrades that I've also wanted to do, but I was worried that they were not going to be useful. But they ended up being in the tour, which is Chef Rosina and Swimmer Rosina. They don't have the greatest value, but I was able to take them to level 8 because they were really helpful in the tour. And then some other drivers like the Yellow Me Suit, Night Luigi, and a couple other things. But the main thing was Poochie was pretty helpful. He had like 6 tracks, and then the 3 new gliders. They came in so clutch. I can't stress how much they saved me for the glider coverage. I was slacking so much on gliders from saving, and they covered basically like 85% of the tracks. It's like insane. Like I was it was like a huge blessing for those 3 gliders to be in the tour.
Wow.
And be all new and have such amazing coverage. And the rest of the tickets basically just went to like buffing random gliders that to level 8, and then it was basically like almost at level 8 all the gliders. It was crazy.
Okay, so everything was basically level 8 quad capped.
Yeah, not all quad cap for the drivers because I was very low on driver caps. I will mention that. I also want to mention this. If anyone else that's watching this wants to consider top 10, there is a consequence, and that is tanking and ranked badly. You're going to have weeks where you're not going to do good at all, and you're going to want to have a temptation to spend all your tickets and win 1 rank cup just for a few extra cap tickets, and then you're going to be in the same exact situation in the following tour, where you're going to have nothing on top shelf, and then you're going to want to spend more tickets, and basically that there goes your top 10 stash. It's all gone now. You basically have to always look at the goal and avoid all upgrades so that you can make sure you have enough for the top 10. And tanking your ranked is one of the consequences of going for a top 10 badge as a low spender. I was mainly suffering in driver cap weeks, so I was very low on those tickets, but everything else I was fine on. I was pretty much winning everything else.
By the way, I don't know.
So
if
I'll
I
go back
at the very
into
beginning, but just curious. You mentioned occasionally buying a pack, but that was probably like back before the pipes went away, right? Have you actually bought?
Yeah.
Have you been gold pass only from the point which pipes went away until now?
No. I will mention I did buy premium challenges. I didn't buy each one every tour. Sometimes I'll buy like all 3 of them. Sometimes I buy 2, and sometimes I buy like very rarely I bought 1. I usually bought like at least 2 or 3. It just depends on like how much extra money I had saved up, because I didn't know how to spend like all my money. Like if I had like extra gift cards, I always use them on the game only. If I get like tips at work, I always put them aside and use them towards the game because that's just side money.
Yeah.
And I don't really like putting them towards like I kind of like having like fun with like some of my money. So I kind of like put them towards the game because I have a passion for the game and everything.
You like having fun?
What?
With the game?
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know.
I think that helps because I think some people will be like, oh, okay, so this could be a whale. He's just saving all these tickets, 150,000 tickets, whatever. Like, but no, you actually had to really save. Like you weren't getting daily select left and right, like some of the top 10 players. You actually had to like conserve, and with probably what is for most players, what average players. So again, I think you bring up a good point. It's like an average player could become the #1 player in the world for a tour if he saved up for a long enough time, being just a gold pass only with maybe $10-$20 a month or something like that in addition.
Yeah, and I added up like how many tickets it would like I subtracted how many tickets from the premium channels I would have had if I didn't buy them all, and for each it was about like 30 to 40. So if I subtracted that, I still would have had like 100 tickets of each. It just kind of gave me like a few more level ups to like level 8. But so I'll go back into like when the grind started. At first it was like really tough. I was like stuck. I was panicking. I saved up all this time for I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I'm not getting any frenzy luck at all. I'm legitimately panicking. I'm asking people, are they struggling as well? And they said they are. I'm DMing Tyler. I'm like, I'm scared. We saved all this time and we're not getting luck at all. We're not gonna make it. And I was trying to get advice from people saying like, what should I do? Where should I start? I don't know what to do. And then people were giving me like two different things. Like some people were saying do all the hard tracks first and then finish with the easy ones. And then I asked a couple other people. They said do the easy tracks first and then save the hard ones for last. Yeah. But I will say that I know this won't apply for everyone, but it's good to have someone like there aside you. And even a couple people. I had a lot of people like supporting me. One person I'll mention is Auto Drift. I'm sure you know him.
Yeah, we love.
He was basically like my coach. Yeah, he basically coached me. Like anytime I was struggling, I went to him for help. I said, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. I'm panicking. And I don't know what to do. So he said, here's what I do. I do all the tracks that are easy first, and I get them all to S's or at least to A pluses, and then after that I do the hard tracks afterwards, and because when you do the easy tracks first, you have a lot of and when you get them all to like S's or A pluses, you have a lot of slack afterwards. So like you can slack on this track. If you can't get this track done, you can leave it alone, and then go to another hard track. And you have all those easy tracks done so you can focus on the hard ones afterwards and see like, oh, I can leave this one for last. I could do this one now. And basically that's basically what he suggested to me. So I stopped doing all the hard tracks now that everyone suggested to do, and I started focusing on all the easy ones. And then eventually I started knocking them out like really fast. Like one day I got like 7 tracks done, and then the next day I got like 10 tracks done. And then I got like 6 tracks done, and then I was like really flying by. And also one more thing to mention, if you're going for like an ACR, like top 100 or top of 10, it's always good to have friends with you. Like I can't stress enough how important this is. But when you're alone, it starts getting to your head. Like you start like panicking, losing focus, you're getting upset. You're stressing out about the game not giving you luck, and you're getting frustrated. But when you have friends to talk to, like Hero was with me, Tyler, my friend Scrub, and everyone else, my friend Stick, who was in my Toad versus Toadette tour push. We were all talking. It was really fun. We were all laughing, playing music, and it was just keeping my mind off the grind and stress, and it was like making it a more positive experience, and it was making me like focus more eventually, and that's how I was starting to knock out the tracks like so fast. It was making it make like a lot better of a experience and making me a lot happier. Awesome. Eventually that's basically I don't know. Like, and also I will say like, it felt like Tyler was in the same situation as me. He was stressing out a lot. He was getting worried, and I was making sure I didn't want Tyler to lose motivation as well. So I said I have to be there for him too. If he's there for me, I have to be there for him. So I said, Tyler, don't give up. Trust me, we can do it. You're gonna as long as you focus. As long as you keep your head in the game, you're gonna make it as well. Like don't back down. It's you've saved so long for this. I've saved so long for this. We can do it. And then eventually we were all in voice calls all the time. I was streaming my game. He was streaming his game. We're all watching each other. I would take breaks and then watch him. He would take breaks and watch me. And then, that's basically like it. I don't know. Like it was like as long as you have people there with you and it goes like very well. I don't know.
Oh, that's awesome, man. No, I've gone for a top 10 before, and finished 11th and 12th and 13th and whatever else. Mostly all last year. I haven't done any type of trying this year. And you know what? I feel pretty confident as a person. I have very few things like knock me down a post, but this game, going for the top 10, if you do not have a support system, you will get knocked down very quickly. It does not take very long. But I would agree with you, just based on what Auditor told you and what you said, and what I also would agree with is to knock out the easy tracks first. It does make, like, if you're like a checklist person, like having some like check boxes and like you have some stuff done.
Yeah.
It does boost your confidence, because that confidence,
Yeah, it does.
mental health perspective, you will get deflated many times, especially when you feel like you're running out of time. And so if you feel like you have like something to like the rest your loyals on, or whatever the term is, like that, at least I got this, like I know I can do this. I know it sounds so crazy to think like you have to remind yourself that you can do something, but that's the point at which this game deflates you when you're playing for that much time. Want to jump over to you, Tyler? I mean, let's just how many Kleenexes did you have to get for Wootmoo, just like to clean up his tears as he was crying through this whole process and like leaning on you, and you were
I feel like it was more me that needed help, because I had a lower estimate than him, like 80K less than him. So I was more so worried about it, I feel like, than he was, because I think that he was always above the estimate. Like the estimate never went above what he could get. So he was never really, he was just worried he wasn't gonna finish. He definitely got it. If he finished the tracks, he would get it. But I was like always like, I think on day 3 or something, the estimate was like 50K above what I could get. And they were like, "Oh, I don't know if you can get it. There's like 12 competitors. I don't know if you can do it." And I was like, "I'm still gonna go for it." And I think Ratchet and Curtis DM'd me like every other day, and he was like, "How you doing? Do you have item? How many item tickets do you have? Like, what tracks are you doing?" Like he was one of the main motivators I had. Like he had auto drift. I had Curtis. He was constantly asking me, how many tracks you have left. Make sure you space the boombox tracks out. Like if Curtis was someone that was in my corner for sure. That like auto drift.
Let me ask you this now then. Were you kind of like take out the quick tracks that you knew had the over 220 or whatever it was action counts? Like, did you do those easy ones first, or did you start with the hard ones? How did you pace yourself?
I went back and forth. Like I tried doing like all the hard ones first, and I was like, I can't do this. This is way too much of a big task to do. So I would do like 1 boombox track and like 3 easy tracks. Then I would do like 2 boombox tracks and like a couple more easy tracks. Like most of my tracks were boombox tracks, so like it was hard to like space them out. So I think what I don't know what day it was like day 6 or something. You know what day it was that I got Baby Park run? You know if that was week 1 or week 2? Do you remember that? The Baby Park run?
I don't know. I think it was midway through, like in the beginning of week 2, I think, something around that.
I had a boombox room of like 3 coin box spots, and like first, second, and third, and I was in 4th. And there's only 1 coin box spot and that like there's only 1 tier 2 coin box spot. So there was 2 tier 1 and 1 tier 2, and the tier 2 bot was in first. I was like, this is my lobby. I'm gonna get a run here. And Baby Park is like the hardest like one of the hardest courses in like the tour. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get my run. I think I spent like I think it was like 2 hours before reset, and I spent like the entire like rest of the night on that track. And I think it was like 7 minutes before reset, I got the run, and it was like boombox boomerang coin, and it ended up being the world record, like 207. So and at that point, I was like, you know what, I got this. I can do this. I can get top 10. If I can get a world record, I can get top 10. So that was one of the main like points. I can do this. I got this.
That's awesome, man. What an awesome run! Congratulations on the world record.
Thank you.
Like yeah, you're right. I mean, all you have to do is like get these amazing runs, especially with boomboxing. It's like you can be grinding for hours, and you get this moral boost. That's phenomenal. And I know you probably had a lot of these grinds. So when you're thinking about boomboxing, when you look back at, you said 25 or whatever of the 45
25.
how many of them did you get like a boombox coin? Were you just going for boombox boomerang and then just hoping for something else?
Just 200 actions most of the time, unless it was like a short track like Choco Island. Like I would go for like at least 95% on the sheet, like 95% action count. But like if it was 200 actions, I would go for 200 actions. So I would try to get 100% on that track. But like I think Choco Island 1 had like no tier 2 coin boxers, and I got like boomerang boombox, and it was like 95%. I was like, I'm not going back to this track. I'm not doing that again. So, but it depends on the track. Like if it was 200, I would just shoot for 200, like 210, 200, and I'd be done. So.
Okay, so you pace yourself. Yeah, I'm curious. I didn't ask this question of either one of you as to this process. I promise, Crainbow, Hero, Issa, I know you're on mute. You're just like sitting back. You're probably falling asleep. I promise I'll get you guys involved as we go on. But I do want to flush this out because this, like, I'll take I have nowhere to be. I will take as long as we need to to get to the rest, because we have a lot to get into still. But like, I really do like, this is an amazing opportunity for us to just kind of flesh this out. I'm curious about, for you guys, like item tickets, right? So like, I'm thinking of like 2 hours with like the perfect lobby. I could imagine myself blowing through like 50 item tickets, because like I want to, like, if I see something like thrown around and I didn't miss it at like what did you go into the tour with item tickets, just on that topic specifically?
I think I had 346. So I mean, it was an okay amount.
Okay.
You had like good double what I had, didn't you, Moot? You had like,
yeah, I had about like, going into it was like 540, and then I got the tour one, so it was about like 600.
Mhm.
How much you finished with?
I finished with 20.
0. I finished with 0. I did the last 3 tracks with 0 item tickets. I couldn't use an item ticket on the last 3 tracks.
Yeah,
it was so bad.
I don't think people like think about that all that much, but like item tickets are a huge part of the top 10 run.
Yeah,
for sure.
Fascinating. So we kind of touched a little bit on item tickets. We talked about investing. We talked about having a support system, which is huge. I'm curious, as you were getting into the last final days, like you had just a few tracks left. I know you guys were actually, one of the worries was, could I finish the tracks in time? Like, walk through those final days. How did you allocate your time? How did you prioritize what you were doing? Did you go back to tracks, or were you just, you already nailed, you only just like didn't move on until you nailed those tracks, and so you felt confident about everything? Talk to us about those final days.
I went to tracks that I had like a 10, like I think I had like 5 tracks on the last like 3 days or something, and they were like a 10K gain, a 5K gain, or whatever like that. And I just went to the biggest gain, and I focused on that until I got it done. And I think there were like 3 tracks I just didn't do because I had no item tickets, and they were all boombox tracks, so I just couldn't get them done. And I had gains like elsewhere, like Baby Park. I had like a 5K over what I was supposed to get, so I was like, you know what, I can skip a track. You know, I got that big gain there. I don't have to worry about this certain track. So but I just focused on the gains at the end. I just went for the ones that had the biggest gains, and then I moved on from there.
What about you, Wumo? Last final days, I mean, did you already hit like the number 1? Like, when you were talking with Auto Drift, was he like, dude, you're gonna be number 1? Like, at what point in time did he tell you that?
So when I was about like 2.8 million, I asked the Auto Drift, I said, is this safe enough for top 10? Like, do you think it's gonna go higher? And he said, you're fine. You can just put the phone down. You don't even have to play anymore. You're guaranteed the badge. But I was like, I don't feel finished. I feel like I still have I have a lot of energy. I still have like 5 more days of my vacation that I could waste on this game. And I didn't want to go back to work, so I was like, I'm just gonna keep playing the game. So I looked at my sheet, and some of the tracks I got like I I caught like okay runs, and I was like, I just took it and moved on, like most of the hard tracks. But then I was like, I don't know. I feel like I want this to be like a moment where like I do really good on the majority of the tracks. So I kept like, even though I hated the tracks, I hated baby parks and everything, and I hated all the donut plains tracks and a couple others. I felt like if I wanted to make a really special like ACR push, like as if I really tried for it, I need to go back to all the tracks I hated and just fight through it. And like, so I went into like Donut Plains 2T. I went to Bay Park, and then I want to mention about something special about the Donut Plains 2T track. It was probably my craziest run. I got a double, like one boomerang picked up 2 coin boxes at the same time. It was like the most insane thing ever. It was like,
Whoa,
okay,
wait. Yeah. I was told someone cannot hold an item, a coin box, single box,
yeah.
while someone else is holding a
Nope. But the way this track is designed though, the first 2 boxes are very close to each other. So if you stay around like the 5th position, and like one coin box driver is all the way in the front, and then one is like midway through. The first it was like Ty Daisy and Go Koopa. Go Koopa was like all the way in the front, and then Ty Daisy was like right next to me. The boomerang frenzy started, and she started dropping a box. But as she dropped the box, Go Koopa hit the next item box right afterwards. And then he got hit by an item. He had a coin box, and as my boomerang was spinning around and picking up Ty Daisy's coin box, he started spilling his coin box as he was sitting there. And all of a sudden, I was like, "Oh my god, he's dropping another coin box!" And like the action count was not stopping. Like it was like shooting up to like 120 actions, and I haven't even touched the lap 2 yet. And it was like so crazy.
What?
Then afterwards, I got a stupid horn frenzy. I was like, oh my god. But then I was like, I literally raced to the finish line. I was like, I am not losing this run. This is a double coin box with one boomerang, and I literally raced to the finish line. I may have skipped a few actions. Like I probably could have done like 2 extra jump boosts here and there instead of just one. But I literally raced to the finish line. I took the horn phrasing as an extra little action count boost, and that was like that was the worst track in the tour, and I finally got it done. It was like a rush. Like it was like I finally got this track done. I could keep moving on, and it surprisingly only took like 20 minutes. That track was in Cat 2022, and I was not able to finish that track at all. And it was finally good to see that I finally got that track done, as well as like Yoshi Circuit R. I mean, no, Yoshi Valley R. I had the boombox track in Cat 2022, and that took the longest. It took like days.
Really?
Like I had to keep going back to it all the time. And then I finally got a run on that. But then on this tour, I finally got it on the first try. It was like a double coin box horn, 2 singles, like first try. So like all the tracks that took me a long time back then, I got done instantly. So it's kind of like Nintendo giving me mercy for once. But
they don't do that very often.
Yeah, no. So then I kind of like did all like the rest of the hard tracks as well. And then eventually I started creeping up to like 8.5, 2.85, 2.86. And then Auto Drift DM'd me, and he was like, I have bad news for you. You're gonna have to try harder because you're a contender for number 1. Oh my god. So I was like, he was telling me that the person that's the current contender for number 1 was someone named Shikaro or something like that. And then he was like, he was gonna stop at like 2.9. So Auto Drift said, if you can pass that, you're gonna be number 1. And I said I had to give it my all. I need to start getting more tracks done. So I was like I was heading back to more tracks, squeezing out all the action counts I can. There was about by the end of the grind, there was about like 3 tracks where I had like 1 to 3,000 gains. There was only one with like a 3,000 gain, which is Riverside Park Normal, which is like a terrible track for Lucky 7. Yeah. And I had to use Poochie there because he's my only high level driver. But other than that, like I basically got like all the tracks done to like A pluses, S ratings. It was very it was I might it was like a nice goal for me to pass my old ACR percentages, and I eventually passed 100% as well on the ACR sheet, which is really cool. Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, actually, yeah, with DKR, he and I was like, it'd be cool to have a grade, and so we talked about grades, and there's actually one of my few infusions into the DKR sheet, which I absolutely love. I mean, I could when my first time going for top 10, probably my best effort. Well, there was no sheet. There was, and so like the level, like the technology and like everything that's allocated, like it like to know that there's 2000 sitting here and like nothing over here, that's a game changer in this in this world. Yeah, no, I kudos to you, and kudos to again, can't shout out Auto Drift enough. He's seen it all, he's done it all. And kudos to you for just saving so much that like I to me like I saw like number 1, number 3, I'm like, oh, these guys probably went at it, they probably were equal like footing going into it. And like, Wootmoo probably just had, a little better luck or something like that. But like Tyler, I mean, honestly, no, it doesn't sound like you even like you kind of like limped in compared to Wootmoo. I mean, Wootmoo like came in with so much more resources, so much more tickets, but you just and you came in, but you knew you were coming in, you knew what you needed. What was your experience any different? I know like Curtis, we absolutely love Curtis. Many of us have had he's in ER, and he's a good fan of the community as well. Just in that he and Rashid kind of overlapped a little bit too. Some of the roles that they played in the community. But tell me about how he kind of played into these last couple hours. Was there ever an insinuation that you could get third, or that you were safe, or how did you approach? Like, could I relax? Could I enjoy the last couple of tours, or were you still in gung ho mode and having so much energy like Wootmoo?
Well, Rashi told me if I reached 2.8, I was safe no matter what. Like if I got 2.8, I was done. And I got to 2.8, I think it was like Saturday morning. And I was like, okay, I'm like fifth. And I think I think the person that finished right behind me was Danny. He got like 2.827 or something. And he was done. He said he was done. I was like, I'm at 2.825. I'm 2K behind him. Let me just beat him. And maybe I can get third. And I think I was third for the last like 4 days. And I was like, am I gonna stay third? Am I gonna keep third? And I knew I was getting the badge, which is, that's really what I wanted. But I thought it would have been cool for us both to finish in top 3, because we both aren't big spenders. We both were saving for the moment. We both love the character Poochie, and we both were excited. So I thought that was really cool. We both were able to finish top 3. But
so who finished number 2? Who is that person?
I don't know who finished number 2.
It was someone named Shikaro. He was the one that
okay.
Auto Drift was warning me about. He was the contender for number 1, but then I took his place.
I was gonna say, like, Tyler, like how do you not phone a friend? Just like, hey, can you just hold back? So we want to finish number 1 or 2. Like, we're BFFs. Like,
that would have been nice. That would have been really cool.
That would have been pretty sweet. But I mean, honestly, 1 and 3. Congratulations, great job, guys. Phenomenal. I don't know what other questions I could ask at this point, because you guys have touched it all. I mean, it is a grind. It takes it is 2 weeks of, maybe feels like 2 years of your life taken off, because it takes a lot of effort. But you have the badge. You can't, no one can take that away from you. And it would have been nice to have Poochie. But Tyler, you're happy it's Yoshi, and you guys both walk away with 1 badge I don't have. So congratulations. Honestly, I have so much respect for you guys both. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Hero, I'll maybe touch on you, because you were sitting on the sidelines for at least for Wootmoo, and maybe for Tyler as well. You're in ER just like Wootmoo and Tyler. What was your perspective on as you're watching them? Did you have some FOMO, or were you just happy to see them keep getting some good runs?
Well, I touched on the fact that like Tyler's favorite track was like the Choco Island 1R, because I remember like he used Kangaroo Yoshi, and like I think he was trying to get double boombox frenzy at one point, but I'm like that's got like 4 item boxes in total, so that's like
it was 1T. It was 1T.
One team. I'm sorry, yeah, 1T. And yeah, like it had 4 item boxes in total. So I'm like, how in the world is he gonna get it? Like that just seems impossible. But I think you did end up getting it, right? Or was it boombox coin?
No, I got a double box, and it would have been
Okay.
like 200 actions, but I got second. So
Oh yeah.
I was so mad. That was so annoying. I was so angry.
Well,
Yeah.
they probably snuck over that little secret way on the left, and probably.
Yeah.
Dude,
It was a badgeless bot too. It was
Yeah.
an easy bot, and it won. I was so mad.
So let me ask you that. That's a good transition. Like, what do you guys think? Are there such things as easy bots? Like, I know there are badgeless because they either have a badge or they don't. But does a badgeless bot equal an easy bot? Yes or no?
I think there's like a name, like they have certain names, like in like back in the Wii when there was like me names for like time trials and stuff. There's like certain like 250 names or something, and if they have that name, like I think it's like simple Japanese names or simple like John or something. If they have like a simple name like that, that's an actual easy bot. But there's also badge spots that can be hard as well. Like if they're like I think if like let's say Woot had a badge spot, that would be a hard bot because he's not a default name. So there are badge spots that are hard still. It's not always doesn't always mean they're easy. You have to like look at I think there's a list on I think it's on Reddit or something. There's like a list of like
A
250
list.
easy
Okay.
bot names, and you have to have one of those easy bot names for them to be an easy bot, I think.
Yeah.
And I think it was Curtis. Curtis showed me that. That was one of the things he showed me.
Yeah,
Was the easy bot list.
honestly, I've never heard that before. I did not know
Mhm.
that.
I didn't know either until Yoshi tour. So that
There's
was helpful.
there's actually one thing I'll mention about that. So there's badge bots and there's badgeless. The badgeless are usually like slower or they take looser lines than the badge bots. The badge bots they go off multiplayer data and they also go off your data. But there's actually a way that I did during the ACR push that allowed me to get a lot of the tracks done really fast. And it's you can basically nerf the bots, including the badge bots, and make them extremely slow, like to the point where they're like burning out at the start every single time. So badge bots will literally be like extremely slow, and they'll never bother you. So
What?
like back, yeah, I'm not kidding. So so there's like you know what auto clickers are, right? People like you use them for like to clear the token shops and everything.
Sure.
But there's actually ways to nerf the bots with the auto clicker. So basically what you do is you go into like you set your auto clicker up to start a race. And then you get the auto clicker to burn out your car every race. And then your car just steers into the walls for the whole race.
Okay.
Then you program to your auto clicker to go to the menu and then reselect your loadouts as if you're clearing badge bots. But the difference is you're burning out every single time, and the game is reading that and saying, "Oh, you're a noob, so we're gonna make your bots really slow so that they can match your skill level." And basically, after you do that for like 3 hours, and you go back and you
3 hours.
and,
Okay.
yeah, but the thing is, you could do it overnight, and then when you wake up in the morning, you can start instantly grinding with the badge bots, and they'll always leave you alone. They'll all burn out at the start. Like I was always knocking my coinbox tracks out pretty quickly because I'll head to my coinbox tracks instantly, and then I can always get them done so easily with the badge bots, and they'll always be like really far behind. And that's like
Okay,
that's
so
like the hidden.
They
That's
do
like the
read our
hidden,
data. Like they
Yeah.
actually do take into consideration my specific runs.
Yeah, exactly.
That's I don't know if I don't think it's ever been proven or debunked. Is that they actually take in consideration my own data, not just like
Yeah.
a whole population data, but just my specific data.
Yep, they go off like how you're playing. So if you're burning out every single race and you're steering it to all the walls, that's basically like it's basically reading that and then making the bots play similar to your style so that it can match your skill level. But the only problem with this is that if you start resetting the game to save item tickets, the game sees this and it's going to start making your bots really aggressive again. So that's something I noticed about it. And then after you nerf the bots, you can probably get like 5 tracks done before the game starts reading that you're actually a good player, and then it will start making your bots start going really fast again. So you can only get a certain amount of tracks done before they start picking up speed again.
So you're saying you would leave this on all night long, and then
Yep.
you'd have like basically 5 chances to get a good
Yeah.
run.
Oh, not like 5 like retries, but like you can restart their track many times, get the run, move on to another track. Then they'll still be slow. Then move on, and then when you finally get that track done, move on to another one. Then you're gonna notice that the game is starting to make them pick like they're like less spots are gonna start burning out because the game sees that you're getting the game sees the runs that you just got, and it's gonna see that you're playing the game good, and it's gonna start matching the bots to your skill level.
Yeah.
And then after a while, they start picking up speed again. After you hit a couple
I find
runs
that really interesting. I would love to know how many, like, because honestly, like if you think about like maybe it took you 5 runs for the system to realize that you're good. But
Yeah.
and I know you left it on all night. But what if it only
Mhm.
took you 5 runs for it to realize to think that you're a noob? You know, like right? So like what if you like leave it on for like 30 minutes and then you play, and then 30 minutes and then you play? Like, I don't
Mhm.
know. There's like an optimization to this.
Yeah.
To this,
And sometimes the weird timing is like really weird because sometimes I leave it on for 3 hours and then they're still a little quick, but then after like they're really slow and they start picking up speed, I can also do it for just 30 minutes and they're back to being really slow. I think it may be just something with timing. Like there's like it just like maybe there's like a gauge and it just keeps going up higher, and then the higher the gauge is, the faster they go, and then I don't know, like as you nerf them, the gauge goes back down to how fast they go, and I don't know, I don't know how it really works.
okay.
It's really weird, but it works somehow. It basically saved like the auto clicker saved a lot of time from like clearing out badges and
I know,
yeah.
and you're a big Android guy yourself, so I know that the auto clicking is a little different than those of us using iPhone. But yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about just in general? Thank you for that, because I mean, that's the thing is like when you're going for top 10, you're in hyper mode. Like every single like little blip one way or another, you sense it, you can feel it because it's like you're playing for so long period of time. I'm curious, you guys, the rest of the everyone here in the chat. What do you guys think about badge spots? I mean, does that matter, or like certainly happy to tie in Tyler and the rest of you guys as well. When it comes to like Lucky 7, do you even like worry about badge spots, or like when you're boomeranging 25 of the 45 tracks, does grinding down the bots matter that much, or if you're trying to go for double boombox, like does it matter?
If there's tier 2 coin boxers, you don't need to grind the badge bots out. But if there are no coin boxers, you have to get the easy bots because you can't get tier 1 bots to be badged unless you like grind the track like 5 times or something. Like you have to finish the race and then go back to the track, restart, finish the race, restart, finish. If there's no tier 2 bots, you're there for at least an hour getting a lobby typically. Like it takes a long time. But there's at least one tier 2 bot, you don't have to grind a lobby out for badge spots. You don't have to do that.
Yeah, I've
You
heard
just
some people
restart.
say I'm trying to remember. I think it was maybe Frenzy fans or something saying that they actually liked having a level 1 coin boxer more than a level 2. Maybe it was you, Hero. I'm trying to remember because like when they went through that item box, they were going to have something first. It was going to hold them away from that coin box, and so because like that second tier coin box driver will get 2 items, and it could be like a green shell and then a coin box, but you don't get to see that coin box until they do something weird with that green shell. Do you treat bot drivers that are that bottom tier differently than that second tier?
Well, me and Boot found out as time went on that tier 1 bots were kind of easier because they wouldn't hold items, like you said, like they
Yep.
wouldn't hold a green shell for the entire lap. They would have a coin box, use it, and you get a boom box. Like sometimes the bot, if a bot gets a horn, they don't use the horn. They hold the horn for the whole race and until you get
Mhm.
near them, and then they use it on you. So
Yeah.
they don't use it on. They use it only on you. So if they get a horn, you just restart the race because you're not getting a boom box. It's not happening. So.
Wow.
With a tier 1 bot, it's much easier because if they have a coin box, typically they use it I know there was a glitch at one point, like Carlos had like on Singapore or something. They didn't use the boxes, but they fixed that now. So whenever a bot gets a coin box, they just use it. So that I think tier one, I think we both discovered that tier one bots are kind of easier, but they're also harder to get because you have to grind out the badge bots to get them. So yeah.
And yeah, I will touch on that. I basically got most of my boombox tracks done with tier one bots because they just the tier two bots, although they're good to have, I felt like the tier one bots did the most work. Like I was constantly always getting my boombox tracks done with the tier one bots. Like I feel like 85% of my tracks were done with the tier ones. It's like they always use the boxes that you said. Yeah, because like I feel like only like 2 of the tracks were boombox tracks with tier 2, and the rest of them, because I had 20 total, and then like 2 or 3 of them were only good runs with tier 2, and the rest of them were all tier 1 boombox tracks, boombox runs. It's crazy. Like I feel like tier 1 bots are just way better to have than
the bots
tier 2.
troll you because they just
Yeah.
hold an item and then they see you with a boomerang, and like the other bots will swerve into you and make you lose your boomerang. It's like the game like knows you have a boomerang. They're like, get rid of the boomerang now, and then now use your coin bot. It's like they're teaming against you sometimes. That's what it feels like. Because like if there's a lucky 7 bot in your room, the lucky 7 bot will swerve into you if you have a boomerang. It's crazy. That drove both of us insane because the bots were like so annoying. That was probably the most annoying thing was the bots.
Yeah.
Last tour for sure.
Let me take a break from, because I know you guys have provided, you honestly have probably learned more in the last hour than I even knew about this game prior to. But Cranbo, Issa, Hero, I'm curious what your thoughts are on boomboxing in general. Are you burnt out? I mean, how do you feel about boomboxing in general? Do you still enjoy it? I mean, what's your thought process? Do you care necessarily if it's like 1 or 2 drivers from the first line or second line or the third line? Or like, I mean, what's your thoughts on boomboxing in general? I know you've been like been salivating and been refreshing yourself and just hydrating for this one moment. So
I don't really care for it. I did bring up my PD Piranha me suit up to level 8 last tour. And so I definitely was using my that me suit for rank. Well, I think it was for the first week. Um I wasn't really a big fan of it. um and it's crazy because it was like a lot. I think there was enough coin boxes in the second tier, and like it was always just only one coin box in my lobby, or sometimes I might get lucky with 2 or 3, but it was always just one, and that one was always behind, or if they were in front of me, I would be so far behind that I couldn't even catch up to them if they did spill out if they did have a coin box and started spilling it out. And then even if I was by them with the coin box, I wouldn't have a boomerang. So it kind of really it kind of sucked. Like I was always getting a boomerang at the wrong time, and I don't know, it was just very exhausting. Kept trying to boom box, so it's not for me.
exhausting is a good word for it. What about you, Cranbo? You big boomboxing fan?
Yeah, I mean, the amount of time I spend, I feel like I spent a ton of time in the game, but obviously listening to these guys, obviously it's very different. I don't mind boomboxing, but I also don't, I'm not going for crazy high placement, right? So I think it's fun. I like it. Obviously, it's one of the better feelings in the game when you get a good boombox. So I don't mind it. I got PD me suit. I've only got it at 6, and I got Toad Astronaut at 5 recently. So those are the only 2 that I feel like I've been using anytime recently. And I was going to take the PD me up to 7, but I just didn't have to yet. And I also wasn't pushing crazy hard, but I'm hoping Toad Astronaut gets some of these new Bowser tracks, because I did not go and both my kids have it, so they supported the original characters. But I did not myself get Poochie, and I also didn't get Toad Tourist. So I'm hoping that I'm good on these new tracks. So I'm hoping Toad Astronaut does, and I hope there's some boombox opportunity there. So, I'm not burnt out on it, but I'm also not, doing it, whatever you said, 14 or 15, whatever it was, 25 tracks, whatever it was. So, yeah, I don't mind it. Obviously, Coinbox is my preference, but
man, you know what? It's so funny. We all wanted to like not see any Coinbox drivers for so long, and now we're like, please, Lord God, give us some more Coinbox drivers. I mean, if you remember, like there were times where there were 25 Coinbox tracks out of the 45, or at the time it was what 32 or something like that, when there were only 12 cups. But yeah, I mean, we're at a new point where Boombox is like, if you're going for top 10, you're going for like the maximum. You're going for like action count, competition maximum, which, again, huge shout out to some of the guys in our servers who are just going bonkers between crazy and so crazy. These guys are just going at it, just breaking records. I know that I could never break. But yeah, I mean, Boombox has that ceiling, which I'm so glad. I mean, honestly, it holds Coinbox accountable. There was so much before we had Boombox, before like probably this time last year when we had the Ninja Tour. Like, Coinbox could not be held accountable. It was Coinbox and Coinbox only. And now we're at a different point where it's like, honestly, I mean, Toad Astronaut, the fact that he's not a me, but also a Boombox boomerang driver. I mean, honestly, he's having a great tear. He is having a phenomenal year. I think if you like, he's like one of the few like non-me's that you have to invest in. You have to get him. You have to, because I don't know why Nintendo loves him, and honestly, he might be the best Toad of all time.
I'm sorry, but
Is that too early to say? Best Toad of all time?
No, it's not. And I was kind of, before I leaned into investing in Mii's, I was going to buy Toad Astronaut and definitely invest in him. But like I just feel like the Mii's are just way too powerful. Like their base points, it's just way too powerful. And at this point, we already discussed this multiple times, but at this point, the non-plus Mii skills are better than the plus skills uh regular drivers or Mario ops, whatever. Like it's not like the Nami suits, like it's better than those now, those type of characters now. So like even like when Poochie was debuted in the last tour, I was really happy, but then it was just like I just feel like the excitement of getting a new driver now is just out of the window because these Mii's are just ruling the whole game.
I think not to chime in, but like Issa, to your point, I think it depends on what level you are as a player as well. Like I'm a day one player, but I also don't do much more than gold pass, right? And I've made bad investments over the time of the game, right? But I've gone in on, I'm starting to do the Mii thing, but I'm also doing the plus skill Mii's. So like I'm at a different level where I can still get a regular driver with the boomerang, because I don't have the tickets necessarily to just go in on, whatever is the hot Mii of the tour, right? So at least at my current level, I'm kind of trying to mix it up with the Mii's. I'm buying everyone that comes in, but to build up the base points, but I only have so many tickets, right, to go in on some of them. So right now, I'm in on Santa and PD beyond the coin boxers and silver, but it'll take me a while to be able to go in on the non-plus skill Mii's. So I've got to play the fine line if I want to compete and keep trying to do the top 1,000 thing at my level and my skill level, and then that's another point to the boomerang, right? That helps me out because I may not be as skilled as some of these top guys here, right, to get the action counts. So when I have some boomerang tracks and I can get a boombox, that's going to help me out significantly because I'm not also always getting the 200 action counts, right? I'm working my way there, but I'm not consistent. So all that stuff, it comes into play. And I think as a more middle of the road player, I think some of those Toad Astronauts and get people like that help out a type of player like me. But I know what you're saying with the non-plus skill Mii's, but it's going to take me a while to get there.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I'm curious, just to touch back on the top 10. I mean, I don't know if you can just look at some numbers, but I'm just curious to see out of your 45 tracks, how many of them were with me suits? Because you know, you can feel free to circle back. I think for me, it's like it's tough. So just for those who had ranked, last tour plus this tour, week 2, we had Goomba Me. And like for me, I don't think I don't have gold charging Chuck at a high level. I don't have like gold Yoshi at a high level. Almost every other coin box driver I have at a high level. And so for me, it's like I had Goomba as an option in week 2 of last tour. I had Goomba Me as an option this tour, week 2, and I decided to leave them both at level 1. Mainly for the main reason that last tour was technically a Nitro tour, and this tour is technically a City tour. And so both last week's or last tour's week 2 track and this tour's week 2 track, both of them may never come back ever again, let alone ranked, just because they're City and Nitro. So for me, it's like I'm hoping that if they do ever come back, something will come back at a top shelf that's a little bit more practical than a double bomb. So for me, I'm leaving at level 1. I'm gonna finish. I think last tour I finished like 10th on Sammy D's pit crew ranking. I'll probably finish worse than that this tour. I'm like 10th on my list, which is like not it's either way. I'm like leaving a lot on the table. If I could just take him to level 4 and just whatever, but I'm having a hard time taking a Goomba Me suit to level 4. So Wootmoo, Tyler, what's your thoughts on the Me suits and really everyone on this call, but like especially for you guys as you were going for your top 10, like how did the Me, let's do a Me check. We always do a Me check here in Kart Talk. Let's do a little earlier in the episode than we normally would. Like what's the value of the Me's right now when it comes to, can you go for top 10 without investing all in Me's, or do you have to?
I say the top skill Me's you have to have leveled, like at least the gold Me and the PD Me last tour were the big ones. I've avoided investing in the question block Me suit. I know that's an unpopular thing. I only have it at level 3 because I got it 3 times from ranked, I think, because they brought it back a bunch. But I've never put a ticket into that. But a funny story about the Goomba Me, on the ticket optimizer, it wanted me to take that to 8 quad last tour, and I was like, I don't want to do that. So Woot showed me a thing where you can like set a roadblock, so like you don't want to level it, and I did that, and I think the alternative was Poochie to 8 triple instead, and I was like, okay, I'd rather do that, and it was only like 500 points less, like between the two. So I was like, yeah, okay, I'm definitely gonna do that instead of the Goomba Me, because I don't want to spend all my tickets on a double bomb driver. Even if it's in Me, I don't want to use a double bomb driver because that's just not something I would want to do. And I wanted to level Poochie anyways, so that was like a win-win situation for me for sure.
Perfect answer.
So look, you said something about like how many tracks I did ACR for Me's. I just counted 17 out of 45 were Me's. But there were only the plus.
To be honest with you.
Yeah. It was only the plus skill ones though. It was gold, PD Me, and question block. And I only need a question block for 2 tracks. So, and the rest of them was mostly just gold Me, and the majority of them were PD Me. So it was a lot of boomboxing. I think like 20 boombox total, combined with the other boomerang drivers. However, I will say, with like Tyler said, the optimizer wanted me to upgrade Me's that were not plus skills, and that would have actually raised my estimate. That I could have possibly hit 3 million, but I did not want to destroy my account for stupid Me suits that I don't even like.
You would have got. I mean, honestly, though, you could have got up another like 40 points with each one of those.
Yeah.
Or 100 points. Who knows? With each one.
Yeah.
Might be the best investment you ever made.
Yeah. Like Isai was saying, the Me suits that are not plus skills are have an advantage now over or on a similar level to plus skill regular drivers. It's actually crazy now. Like most of the time you only need a double coin to compete with a plus skill, and it's like it's actually crazy. Like a 200 action count track with the Me suit that's not a plus skill, in order to beat that with a plus skill regular driver, you need like 350 actions. It's actually insane now how high these Miis are going.
So let me ask you this, right? Because what you're talking about is basically a fun meter and a time meter, right?
Yeah.
Fun is like, having a fun, I don't know. I know, Moo, you're a big fan of, say, like Dash Ring. So what if you had like a Dash Ring double coin or something like that, and you have the time of having a non-plus me, getting a boombox coin horn or something like that. Like you have like two like pendulums swing in there between time and like fun. And like it's tough because with me is like, yeah, you're gonna have to go with double coin, but double coin is gonna beat literally everything else you could possibly go at, including something that's more fun, something that could take less time, more time, but more fun, but less time. But then there's like, again, everything kind of comes down to time and fun. I don't know. I'll come back to you, Cranbo, just because we heard so much from the top 10 crew, and I'm so glad we did. Honestly, I'm so glad we've touched on all these topics. But Cranbo, like, where do you fall in that fun to time ratio? Like what do you enjoy in the game?
Well, I think like a lot of people, I think, the top skills are the fun runs to get the high action counts, the big scores, all that kind of stuff. But I get that, like here in Woomu, like Dash Ring. I mean, some of the other skills don't bother me, right? If you get a coin frenzy. So some of I played mostly the meta and the Miis and all that kind of stuff. But back in the day, I always enjoyed like Black Yoshi or those kinds of drivers. Like I enjoyed when some of those drivers were top of the food chain, right? Because that you had a variety. So I'm mostly about having fun, but I try and I'm obviously very invested in the game and spend too much time in the analyzing and I'm probably not even that good at it. So I like to think I'm having fun all the time, but yeah, even at my level, sometimes it feels like just a grind and you just want to shut the game off time to time because it just gets to be too much. So I'd like to say it's always about fun, but it's not when you're trying for the high scores. So I like that. I'm actually not against the Miis. I like the regular drivers, but I don't really dislike the Miis too much. I know there's a lot of hatred or dislike of them and things, but I don't mind them. It's obviously no cap and all that kind of thing is not good. That piece obviously I would agree with, but I don't mind them having Mii drivers. Like if they had put a cap on it and you could just pick and choose which ones you like, that'd be fun, in my opinion. So
yeah, what about you, Issa? I know we're going into, and I know I still want to touch base on Athens because it's an awesome track. We still haven't talked about it yet, but I do want to hear from you. We're going into a tour where we're going to have a lot more Mii suits, and I don't see a cap coming in. Like, how do you feel about Mii suits going into next tour?
As you know, like I'm investing in them now, so it is what it is. That's just my mentality with them. It is what it is. I really wish I invested in them a long time ago. Even though you keep saying it's never too late to invest in them, but I don't know. I started really noticing with my rank mode, like some people who had, already been invested in these and like their base points are like insane. So, and I was like,
honestly, I think the best motto for Mario Kart Tour right now is pretty similar to Pokemon, which is you got to get them all. You got to catch them all. You literally have to get them all. Like, I don't know what you'll hold back on. Prove me wrong. You have to get them.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Can anyone else tell me I'm stupid?
Nah, is at this point, yeah, because the base points are just insane. Like, and then we're getting 4 brand new Mii suits next tour, and then 2 after that. Like, I think Nintendo, they know what they're doing.
It needs to stop.
You know what's interesting though is Cranbo brings up a good point. It's like if you think about it, it's like what was it, like a year and a half ago or so, we were talking about, Blackbirdo, and the coverage was just so insane. They were like making crazy. They can, even like with like Chef Luigi or like Cat Luigi or some of these drivers that they're just giving like some crazy ridiculous coverage to. It's still like they're not even close to our top like 30 in our coverage, because like they just aren't. It doesn't matter. Like it doesn't matter how many tracks you give it. You can just invest in like 3 drivers instead of 1, and you can just like crush them all with just base points. So like that's where we are in this game, is like they now have to reinvent themselves, and it's at a point where it's actually pretty blatant. Even guys, listen, if like free to play players and like Go Pass only players are saying I have to get every me, like that's when we're like, yes, something a little fishy. Something is like we now have to, something has to change. I still think there's this blue ticket coming. I think there's like a switch up coming. That may or may not happen, but I don't know. I'm curious with you guys. Let's touch base on Athens, right? So we are now on a city tour. Again, I'm happy. This could break the record for longest episode. I have no problem. I have nowhere to be. But let's talk about Athens, guys. So we are now in another city tour. It's all cities. So sometimes they used to do this thing where like we just had a city and then we had other tracks. And now we're like we've now made this kind of a trend where we've had all cities for that whole entire tour, which I think is actually pretty brilliant, because it and I think they've kind of tied it to like the Asia, Tokyo and Singapore, and like and then might have done it like Australia and then they did like a Europe, and then they did a North America, and so like I think it's pretty cool that they've done it this way. But how do you feel like when it comes to investments? How do you feel about just in general a city tour? And then first, if we can, maybe we'll start with you, Hero. What's your thoughts on the Athens city? Because we have like not just one, but 2 cities.
Yeah.
RT. Then we have a Berlin RT. We just have so many tracks. But I want to get your feedback on Athens. Obviously, your opinion matters a lot.
Yeah, no, I actually do like Athens Dash. They did a really great job. I mean, even though I'm not from Greece and stuff, but they did a really good job with 1 and 2. I will say, however, like for this week's ranked, I think it's what we're having 2 RT or whatever. That track is horrible for coin box. Like I'm using Gold Chuck for that, and it is so bad. It's like I don't know which spot is the best place to spit out your coins, but honestly, but no, I agree with you that they should have like this is kind of like, I have this feeling it's kind of like a Metropolitan 2.0 type of tour, because they did it last year with giving us Berlin, Paris, and London and stuff, and I liked what they did. I really hope they continue to do that, because honestly, like it's a bit of an unpopular opinion. I actually like all cities, because it's been a while since we've gotten used to these cities. I think you touched on like back in late January, we had the winter tour where we had like all the Asian tours, like Singapore, Tokyo, and Sydney, I believe, but I could be wrong. But yeah, I hope they continue to do that, because again, we rarely see cities come and go here and there. You know what I mean? It looks like every 3 to 6 months we'll get like a city themed tour. But yeah, overall, I do like Athens Dash. They did a really great job with it.
So it's interesting, like, right? So they kind of like pull in these like geographic areas, but I also do feel like when they pull them all in together, like that almost I don't know if it halts their thought process on like bringing in new cities. That's why I'm so excited about Athens. Is it's a new city, and like we've been inundated with all these older cities being like Singapore. I love Singapore, but like Singapore 5, we don't need. Like give us Athens. Give us like some actual new cities that we haven't experienced before. I think that's what we were kind of hoping for. I absolutely love Athens. If they want to give us 2 Athens, totally cool with that. What's your thoughts on Athens in general? Like, I mean, how do they? Or has anyone ever been to Athens? Maybe I'll ask that.
The music is great.
I've been to Greece twice, but never to Athens specifically. Athens being the most popular. I love the track. I think that the fact that they brought in the ruins, the one argument I would have, and you guys could beat me up for this, is I wish they would have had a little bit more like, I don't know, older Greece culture or like garb. Like I wish they had the toga with like the headpiece with like the gold feathers going on. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they got like maybe they had so many people like write tickets back with the Berlin tour about the Lederhosen is not actually German. It's it's some other culture. Well, I'm trying to remember what the complaint was at the time, but like maybe they just feel like so canceled that they just don't want to like come out with like a Grease, like old school Grease, like how we like remembered it, like as kids, like with like toga and like I don't know. Do you guys feel that way or not? Like, am I just weird?
Yeah, you mean like an alt featuring like a toga shirt, like let's say Bowser or whatever, something like that.
Like,
Yeah.
how cool would that be? Like,
Yeah,
how
that'll
cool
be epic. That'll be sick.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you guys feel that way? Or do you,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like Taurus Toe was kind of a cop out alt because it was just like kind of a basic vacation alt. They could have done something more. I kind of feel like, honestly,
But the music's great.
Yeah. Some of
the music is awesome. Yeah, I agree.
I do notice that sometimes when they introduce a new city and then they bring in alt, sometimes they just they're kind of like lazy, like like it's just like Singapore when it debuted, it was a vacation alt, but why couldn't they do something like themed with the actual city? And same with this one, it's just it's like a tourist vacation alt. I wish they would like theme the alts like better, like they used to, like when Berlin debuted, it was Lederhosen and Luigi. When Amsterdam debuted, it was Volendam Rosalina. I wish they would theme the a lot of cities more towards that instead of sometimes occasionally like being like a vacation alt, which is kind of like a generic any type of city driver.
Well, and it's really crazy too because okay, so the first city track was of course New York Minute,
Yeah.
and what didn't they bring? Was Mario musician in that or no?
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was
At the beginning.
Musician and
So
Pauline.
And Pauline, yeah.
Okay, so they kind of especially Mario Musician, that kind of fits the New York theme. And then when they came out with Tokyo Blur, we had Mario Hakama. I don't know if Peach Yukata came out.
Peach
or not.
Kimono.
Peach Kimono, yeah.
Yeah. They had an outfit for that, and for Bangkok tour, they had Ty Daisy. So it's like they normally have a trend of like bringing out an alt that relates to the city. So I think that it was the controversy with the Luigi alt with Berlin that made them probably not want to do that for the Athens tour. And that is unfortunate because a vacation the vacation tour that just doesn't fit Athens tour. Now Vacation Peach, it fit Paris because I mean I don't know, just
The hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I really think that controversy with what was he called again?
Lederhosen.
So yes,
Lederhosen?
apparently the Lederhosen is Bavarian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you're referring to? Yeah, that's yeah. There were a lot of people. I hope that they did not create tickets. I hope that's not why we have. Can you imagine like a Toad?
It's just a vacation tour just doesn't fit Athens. Like
it would be a toga, a toga,
Toadga.
a toga.
You would be yelling toga.
And then with the
dude, if they made a toga. Wait, hold on. Toga.
Toadga.
Dude.
It was a missed opportunity because
Yeah.
the Sydney tour they had Kangaroo Yoshi, they had I don't know if Rosalina Vacation or swimwear, I don't know.
I thought she was fine. I thought they did a good job there, but yeah, I don't know if there was controversy there. You're right.
That is just weird because typically they would have an alt that relates to the city that's coming out. So
yeah, but they did they? Does anyone have any complaints on the track? I feel like most people are in unanimous support of the tracks. Like they brought in the ruins, they brought in some unique aspects of the track. They have like you have to like jump onto a specific like pillar that's like in a unique space. You have to kind of jump off that. You have some stuff going on. I don't know. I'm pretty content with the tracks. I mean, anyone having gripes against the tracks? Anyone have a variation that they're like, man, this one's tough?
I think there's one that has 2 item sets, and there's like 2 item sets at the very beginning, and there's nothing else for like the last half of the track. I think it's R2 or is it 1
Yeah.
RT?
I think it's a
It's
2
one of the
RT, the one
RTs.
on ranked.
I think the one on ranked has 3. I think it might be
Yeah,
1
okay.
RT. I think 1 RT has like I think it's one of the ones that Poochie has. I know that because I have Poochie Max. That's why I know that. And it has like 1 item set at the very beginning, 1 in the middle, and there's nothing for like the last half of the track. Like it doesn't make sense. I don't know why they do that.
Those
Sometimes.
are tough. Those are definitely tough. It depends on like so again with Coinbox, you know, again, not that I don't think that track has Coinbox, but a lot of times one of the things that, again, this is more meta than anything. It applies to all tracks. But I saw Sammy D on his grind. He really liked going through the tunnel through the cave of Athens, and then releasing his Coinbox all the way up into the ramp. And a lot of people who grinded ranked a lot last week remember that grind. But the thing is, like, one of the things one of the things it probably changed my mind probably in December going forward was like, always make sure to always release, no matter what happens, always release a coin box before you get to the next item box. And it's been one of the things that I've been preaching on my server, because you cannot, for whatever reason, and I honestly, I think it's a phenomenal rule. I'm so glad they did that, because that leads into our next topic, which is shrimping 2.0. You don't want to go anywhere, hero.
Run, hero.
Hero.
Run.
No.
Run, hero, run.
No, it's actually a perfect time to take a break, because it's gonna get us heated here, guys. It's the shrimping 2.0. But you right now in the game, and regardless of whether it's multiplayer or single player, one person can hold a single item coin box at one point in time. So if I can say anything, if you're a new player, you're watching this, one of the best advice I could give you, seriously, one of the best advice I can give you, is to use an item box before you go into another item box. Use a coin box single box before you go into an item box, because if you are holding an item box and you go through an item box, if you're holding a single box and you go through an item box, you cannot use, the game will not allow you to pull another item single box. And so that's my highest recommendation. And so from that perspective, we're now going to this point where we got shrimping. And it's kind of a smooth segue, but not quite so smooth. But it's the hottest topic this week. It's probably cooled down for maybe the last day and a half, but that's about it. Because we had a battle track and ranked, and it was the hottest topic. We saw so many people, including Carlos85, go through it and work with some friends. We're good friends with Robert. So the topic of shrimping. So maybe I should explain, and I honestly, I hate doing this. And so if someone like really enjoys doing this, feel free to take over from here. But essentially in multiplayer, and this is honestly the biggest issue, is that multiplayer is also included in single player. But in multiplayer, you can work with your friends, right? So you can enter the same room with your friends. Your friends can throw some coins at you, some mushrooms at you. Well, when you have a friend, say multiple friends using multiple mushroom cannons, the mushrooms themselves are extra points, and plus they also stay on the track longer. So that combination, in addition to a lot of other things, can lead to a variety of other kind of hacks with the game. Now, I absolutely loved Sammy D's post that he did earlier this week. The video he summarized it really, really well. Is that this has been happening in Mario Kart games forever. It's like a glitch happens, and now once one person knows about it, everyone knows about it, and people all take advantage of it. So that's unfortunate. That happens with games, though, and so you have to just own up to it. Now, here's the thing: is like they could totally get rid of all of that, like literally every single issue with the entire game. They can just totally solve with just getting rid of keeping the multiplayer separate from the multiplayer, or keeping the multiplayer separate from the single player. But here we are. We have shrimping 2.0. So shrimping 1.0 where you had someone having triple mushrooms and they're just getting humped by drivers in the corner. They're just running into a corner with a triple mushroom and people are just riding behind them. And we're talking about thousands of actions. Well, Shadow Legend showed us that he got to, 99.99999 thousand points, and the game just actually shut him down. They said error, red flag. I'm sure they'll probably do something. But what's your thoughts on now that I've explained to the community what for those of you, probably in a poor way, but what would you, if you could correct how I explain Shrooming 2.0, feel free to do so. But what's your thoughts on the actual strategy, if you call it that? Like, if you wanted to go for top, I know you guys went for top 10 last tour before this became an issue. If you want to go for top 10 this tour, would you have to do that? What's your thoughts on that this tour? What's your thoughts on it in general? Guys, I'm going to open the floor. I'm going to step back. I'm actually going to go to the bathroom, but you guys take it over. Trooping 2.0, I'll probably come back in about 20 minutes. You guys will still be talking. So go ahead.
Oh, God.
Who wants to open the floor? This is a loaded topic. I honestly
I'll talk about it first.
For about 30 minutes.
Yeah, I'll talk about it first. So obviously the first Shrooming thing was like a really bad glitch. Like it was like, well, not really a glitch. It's how the game was. It works, but it ended up being like something that the developers didn't really want to happen, and it became very, very overpowered. Like getting triple mushrooms rapidly at that rate, getting 800 actions, it becomes very, very overpowered. But the way that is now, it's not really like as overpowered as the Shrooming was. And I wouldn't really call it like a glitch. It's just, as Sammy said, it's just how the game works. Like you're taking advantage of in-game mechanics that are already provided from the developers, and you just use it for your advantage. Like, for example, in single player, boomboxing was not a thing back then until people discovered that you can pick up a coin box with a boomerang and then get a huge score. And then people started taking advantage of that. And it's not an exploit, it's not a glitch, it's just a strategy that people use to get an advantage as a score. Well, same thing with multiplayer. I mean, Nintendo provided the scoring for multiplayer since day one of multiplayer, and it's like if they saw it as a problem when they added battles, they would have likely just removed it way back then and separated it. But it's like as if they want us to actually get scores in multiplayer, and that's why it still hasn't been removed to this day. But they may not have they may want us or not want us to work with friends to get scores. But when people are complaining to Nintendo that people are using a battle strat to get an advantage in rank for battles, Nintendo sees this and sees, oh, this is how our game works. How are we going to even fix this in the first place? There's no way to fix the issue without nerfing mushroom cannons, dash rings, coin boxes, and everything else in battles. At that point, you're best off either removing all the scoring from multiplayer, like separating it as everyone says, or nerfing all the skills, or just removing all the skills from battles completely, which makes no sense. The only thing is that I feel like Nintendo is kind of struggling on what to decide right now, because that's how the game works, and but at the same time, how are they gonna separate? It's like the multiplayer separating the scores is like the easiest fix, and likely nobody will complain, but it's like the only fix that they can do. It's not because it's not a glitch. There's no really other workaround to fix it other than nerfing all the plus skills and mushroom cannons. And also I will comment, like, people who call it cheating, it's not really cheating. It's like you're just taking advantage of like I said with like how people found out boomboxing back then. Like you're just taking advantage of an in-game mechanic that Nintendo has provided since the day that they introduced the game mode. I don't know.
Yeah, no, let's call a spade a spade. Is it cheating?
No, I would say no.
As someone like that attempted top 10, like prior, and this was back in the Peach versus Bowser tour. This was back when Shipping 2.0 was developed. So like you were talking about, Stud, like like I said, I wanted to go for top 10 on that tour because I was finally done with school and stuff and I had enough tickets. Now, as I inputted all my tickets and stuff, I think I barely made the cutoff and stuff. But I think it was day 2 or day 3 of that tour was when someone mentioned about shrooming. And honestly, like, it still haunts me to this day because had I done the shrooming 1.0 at that time, I would have gotten my top 10. But I decided not to at that time because I was concerned that I was going to get removed from the ACR list because you see people getting like 130,000, 140,000 K, I'm like, that could be a red flag for Nintendo being like, yeah, we might remove you or something like that. But they did. And what's really messed up on that tour was that they made an update saying that, I think it was gone, the whole shrooming thing during 2 of the tour. And I'm like, what are you guys thinking? That's just terrible of them. Me to this day, but with regards to the whole shrimping 2.0, like we said, it's not cheating and stuff. Honestly, if they really do care about it, they should remove battle tracks from ACR, period. Just remove it from the get-go, and that way everyone will be happy, because I'm pretty sure everyone hates battle tracks and it's really horrible for ACR. Just do it on multiplayer, that's it. Bottom line.
Well, and if they're adamant about keeping them in ACR, then just disconnect the multiplayer scoring from the ACR scoring.
Yeah.
The easiest fix.
Sure.
I mean, that seems like the easiest thing. I mean, I don't think they seem to want to have it in ACR, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to change. But I was going to ask, and then not to interrupt other people's opinions, but I was going to ask because I've been doing the whole, taking things up for battle tracks, right? So I was going to ask you guys on this, like, as we're on this topic, like, if they address this, what do we think the odds are that they would remove the battle tracks from ACR? Because a lot of the stuff I have at a high level covers me well on other stuff, but I'm considering taking things to 8, so that but after this event, so I just want to see if other people thought, like, is there an actual possibility? Does anybody actually think that they would remove it from ACR?
No, I think you bring up a good point. Let me ask it. Let me pose this question, because I think Wumu, I think I know kind of where I know what you're gonna answer, but I think it actually falls into 2 camps, right? So we actually have, if we want to solve the problem, if enough people submit tickets, right, they could do one of 2 things, right? They could A, take battle tracks out of ACR completely. That would solve the problem, right? Because it wouldn't be an ACR anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Or they could take multiplayer out of ACR, and you can only play the multiplayer tracks. The battle tracks could not apply to when you play in multiplayer. Wouldn't carry over into the score of the single player, which again, for those of us who for the last 3 years have been grinding battle the grand stars in multiplayer on like the first day of the tour, second day of the tour, which I know I still do for now and now, but and they've kind of switched it up a little bit. Now it's relatively random. They don't do it in like cup order like they used to, but like that there's one camp which is completely remove battle tracks from single player. There's and then there's removing battle tracks entirely just from like all cup ranking entirely, and so you don't even have a battle tracks in ranked. And so I think from that perspective for Cranbo, if you're okay with having battle tracks in single player, but the multiplayer doesn't carry over, then you're totally fine with investing. But if to the second point, which is that if it were to still carry over, but or still be in all cup ranking but not carry over, then you can still invest in it. So where do you guys fall in those two camps? Because that's a subsect of what we were talking about before. Maybe it's not cheating because this is kind of the game that we're given, but like, how do we fix it? And more importantly, how do we use our tickets to approach how they could fix it?
Yeah. I'll answer Kramo's question. I highly doubt they'll ever remove ACR from ranked cups and ACR, and it's mostly because I feel like people in the community, Nintendo will have a hard time pleasing everyone. There will be people who are happy about it, but then people who invested in items specifically for those tracks, they'll become useless buffs, and then people will get pissed off. They'll be like, "Oh, I invested Astronaut Toad for this track, and now you're gonna completely remove it from any scoring potential." I basically got scammed of tickets. Yeah, like King Mario, Astronaut Toad, all these characters with the battle tracks. That's like a wasted buff. It gets taken away from people, and then people get pissed off. So Nintendo can't please everyone. So I feel like they'll never remove it from ACR ranked. What they could do is also just limit battles from being in the tour all the time. Like it's literally in every single tour, no matter what. There's always 4. How about we just like have a tour where there's no battles at all? Like that's a good fix for me. It will make people who actually want to grind ACR without battles, like want to do it. But I kind of just don't really see them removing the battles completely from like scoring or ACR or anything like that. That's just my thoughts about it.
I feel like what they're gonna do is they're gonna do something like they're gonna keep scoring like races in multiplayer because we need multiplayer pipes and that's based on points. I think what they're gonna do is they're gonna make it so like you get a note at the end of battle in multiplayer. They're gonna say like this does not count towards your actual score. Like it won't count those scores in multiplayer, but it'll keep like you can do your grand star still through races because you can't really brick the game in multiplayer races because you can only do the track one time and you go to the next track. You can't manipulate mushroom cannon and in races. So I feel like that they're just gonna make it so you can't get scores and battle multiplayer. That's the only thing they really can do. I don't think they're gonna remove it from ACR or even ranked. I don't think they're ever gonna do that because that's just something they're not gonna. I agree with you. Like they're gonna people are gonna say, "Oh, I invested in King Mario for Cookie Land. That's one of his good tracks.
Exactly.
Oh, you removed it. I'm scammed." So like I think that would cause an uproar. Honestly, if they did that, I don't think they're gonna do that. Personally, that's my
the only fix I feel is just separating the battle scores from single and multiplayer, like everyone says. It's like the only fix that will cause like the least uproar. And I don't think anyone at all will be mad about that. It will fix the issue completely, and that's the only way.
Nintendo, listen to it. Please, just do not let multiplayer scores transfer over to single player. It's that simple. That's all you have to do. All the tickets you've received for the last 2 weeks. That's all you have to do. Just cut it off somehow and just say, hey, when you compete in multiplayer, it's a multiplayer thing, goes to this pipe. And when you play in single player with random people that aren't giving you mushrooms every 2 feet, like that's your score. And we say, okay, and we move on because we're realistic people and we don't, yeah, I'm with 100%. I think you guys nailed it. Anything else want to add to that? Because I feel like that's a simple fix. I don't know if maybe I don't think it needs any much more dynamic, but maybe you guys are creative people. Anything else I missed?
No, I feel like it was really an issue to Nintendo, just like the streaming 1.0. Like the next day, they literally forced people to update their games. Like they would have done the same thing.
That was stupid.
So, Hero, let me ask you this. So let's say, I mean, we're right now, Friday, Saturday, going into, day 10 of the tour. What do they fix it tomorrow? Would that give people that are going for all cup ranking this tour at a disadvantage because they didn't capitalize on that on that specific unique aspect of the game before they fix something? Or would you rather than they just fix it at the end of the tour?
Yeah, they should have fixed at the end of the tour, bottom line, because it affected people like me that didn't use that shrooming 1.0 method. Because again, if I used that shrooming method, I would have gotten top 10. But like I said, I was concerned I was going to get removed from ACR. I see other people doing it, which kudos to them. You know, they got 130K, 140K, you know, but the way that they addressed it during that time was just horrible. I'm sorry. They should have given us an update with regards to the next tour. That way it would have been fair for all of us. So if this happened again for this tour, then people would probably they would be angry. They would be pissed off about it too, you know?
I think you have completely valid points. Now, Hero, after hearing Wootmoo and Tyler talk about their top 10 experience and knowing you were so close, and because of Nintendo and their being a butthole, for just their language, how do you proceed into your top 10 voyage? Which I just like myself, and you know, anyone who's never been into top 10 land, who's been in top 100 a number of different times, like you do kind of long for that top 10. Like what's your thought process on that? Is that something you think about every so often, or is that something you want to potentially accomplish, or are you saving, or how are you approaching that?
I mean, I'm just gonna save tickets and just wait for the right tour that I have amazing loadouts. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a great experience because I leveled up a lot of things like the wonderful Garnet, Lava Rocks. I mean, those are my favorite gliders
Good.
because they've just been getting buffs and buffs every
Good.
single tour, and I'm
Very
loving
good.
it. So, yeah, I'm just gonna be like like Wootmoo and try to like hoard tickets if I can. But you know, if there's a tour where I have very high levels, but anyways, but we'll see what happens, you know. But it was a good experience. I remember I placed in the high teens, like 14, 15 place. So I was proud of that. So but yeah, we'll see what happens. But right now I'm just gonna hoard tickets and we go from there.
Well, I know for a fact any tour where you're not in school, you can very confidently get 98% on the DKR.exe spreadsheet. Like there's no doubt about that. Like when it comes to your skill, like my skill, I have to rely on some crutches. I don't think you have to. So kudos to you for that. But I know school, like that's a very important determining factor on that
Thank you.
aspect of it. But yeah, hopefully the stars align here soon. Hopefully there won't even be any crazy dilemmas when it comes to battle tracks being in ranked, let alone in all cup ranking. I think like in general, all cup ranking for someone who goes for top 10, top 100 all the time, not top 10, but top 100 like myself. I think, you know, having these battle controversies, it's not that big of a deal. I think when it comes to rank, that's when it's like, oh man, there's so much attention. I specifically called out that like Nintendo felt good enough for whatever reason, felt good enough about this Paris track to throw it into ranked. It's unfortunate because, like, you know, for me, I'm like, you know what? Like, they really are like they're maybe pushing battle. And so I said, you know what? Nintendo felt like they fixed whatever they possibly could and gave us the green light to say, hey, try to break our Paris battle track. Like, you know, we feel confident that this is as good as it's gonna get for what we know right now. But we want to see what you guys have. We want to see what you guys, if you guys can break this. And you know what? We freaking breaked it. We broke it down into pieces. So yeah, we'll see when he comes back into battle again. This is kind of like their little testing period where they're basically getting free QA testing, like quality assurance testing from us, the users, the players, because we'll break it and they can watch us on YouTube, and we'll break it and we'll get 100K, 90K, 99, whatever it is, and they'll be like, okay, we might have messed up, but you know, we learned from it, and people maybe they enjoyed battle tracks. I to be honest with you, the battle tracks, I think there are enough people turned off from battle tracks through this whole process. To be honest, I have no, I can't see someone being like, yeah, I hope battle tracks come back. I think either some people are saying, you know what, I manipulated the process, I capitalized on it, and you know what, if they bring it back, I'll capitalize on the next even if they fix something, I'll find something else. I'll find some other crack somewhere else. And that's where we are. I mean, that's what's cool. Honestly, I think that's what's intuitive about this community. That's what I appreciate about this community. But I hope Nintendo just nips the like, guys, you tried. You tried. Battle Track should be meant for multiplayer. It should not be, or for single player. It should not be like, there should not be any scores coming over for multiplayer. I think because they kind of nerfed the scores coming over from when we play single player and in general, even if we have frenzies, like we can't reset. There's a lot of things we can't do. I don't think I've ever scored. I don't think I've ever used a score from multiplayer in my single player racing ever in the game. And so I think from that perspective, like they did a good job there. Just do the same thing for multiplayer battles, and we'll go from there. Anything else you want to add on that before we move into the Bowser tour? Otherwise, let's go full minion mode. Who's excited about these 4 freaking minions? What do you guys think about the 4 minion Miis that we have coming into the game? How are you investing? And the fact that we don't have like another alt, another like, does that matter at all? Because I know now that we don't have pipes, like who cares, right? So what do you guys think?
I'm sorry, I'm disappointed. I was
Yeah, let's go.
I'm disappointed that they didn't add a Bowser alt or a Bowser Jr. alt or a Chemic alt. Like I'm just disappointed. It was no alt. Like I'm excited for the new track and all, but I just felt like this is like how many Bowser tours were there? Like, and I think Meowser, no, that was the cat tour that Meowser came out in, right? Or the New Year's tour?
It was
New
New
It
Year's.
was
Year's.
New Year's, yeah. 22.
Like, when are we gonna get a Bowser alt for a Bowser tour? Like, this was a missed opportunity for the SNES Bowser.
You won a
Bowser
wedding Bowser, didn't you? The groom.
You said what?
You won a
No.
wedding Bowser. I mean, how many people watched the Mario movie? Who watched the Mario movie?
I did something.
I don't think this is a spoiler. We got Bowser wedding in that movie. He was the main. Honestly, he was the main character.
I think that's really why I'm disappointed, because the movie, like after watching the movie, you expect that they would release like that type of alt or something. I'm just so disappointed. I'm disappointed, but I'm happy I'm looking forward to racing a new track, but I just feel like it was another missed opportunity, especially for the Bowser fans. And mind you, I'm a Daisy fan. So I really feel for the Bowser fans that, they were really hoping for a Bowser alt. So the Mii's, I mean, is more Mii's for me to collect, but yeah.
I will say I've never had 150 driver tickets, kart tickets, or glider tickets, but I tell you what, I've been saving for this Larry me. I'm ready to take him to level 8 triple and cap. I'm ready for this Larry me. I saw him last tour. I said, let's go.
So that means you're going for top 10, Stud?
Nope. Not doing it. No, actually now my new, by the way, I haven't really talked a lot about my new job, but it's full encompassing. We have a deadline. The deadline is August 1st. And so there's a chance that maybe in the fall I could just have some fun. But right now, yeah, there's no way I'm doing it right now. But I will say though, this Larry suit, he looks cool. Who's excited about Larry? Larry me.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Maybe it's just me.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks pretty cool. No, yeah. So what's life after top 10? Let me ask you that. So like you've you've been number 1 player in the world, number 3 player in the world, you got your badge. Like what's left?
Well, one thing I was looking forward to was like well, I really wanted the badge and everything, but also the reaction from the community. Like I did not expect that I would get number 1, and I wasn't sure like what kind of reaction people would have when they saw me at number 1. But it was kind of like the same thing with Tyler. So many people reached out to us and congratulated us, like people who I didn't even know, and people from other servers, like, and other clans are like messaging me and saying congrats on number 1. I you're like you're like a champion now.
You are, dude.
You basically defeated the game. It's like kind of like I did not expect so much reaction from people I didn't even know. And I even have people going like, can you join our clan and everything? I'm just like, I'm sorry, I'm in ER. But
Let's go. Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure Tyler can relate. Like, so many people like reacted, so many people congratulated us.
So cool.
It was very like overwhelming too, and I really loved all the support I had from the community and all my friends, and even from Tyler specifically. We both had each other's backs throughout the whole thing.
So what's next? I mean, like that's what I'm really curious, and honestly, like I'm so proud of you guys. Like I like if I could patch on the back, like you're a celebrity. Like you've cemented into Mario Kart Tour history.
Yeah.
But, like, what's next? Like, like how do you treat the game? Like I know some people, and this is kind of like a spiraling circle of like, now I have to hold myself accountable. Like now I'm competing against myself, and like now I have to get top 1 every single time. And like they can go into that section, or they can go back to where they were as gold pass only plus whatever plus. How do you move forward? And like, how do you tie that into where we go into next tour and other tours in the general?
Well, I made a not like a promise, but like, since I didn't really want to buy premium challenges anymore, that's why that's one of the reasons why I want to get my top 10 over with. And that's why I was always checking my estimate every score. So after this ACR, I'm cutting off premium challenges to stay in gold pass only again. Because I just don't really like spending too much money on the game. I was already like over budget, and I kind of like being a low spender. So after this tour, I cut off premium challenges and staying on gold pass. But I did like the feeling of the top 10. I like the grind and everything, even though it was stressful. I kind of want to save for another badge one day. Maybe in Halloween tour, maybe if either King Blue Beach Mansion or Halloween Rosalina gets a badge, then that'll be another badge I want to go for. Not sure how many tickets I'll have by then, but a lot of the upgrades I made now are very good, and maybe I want to go for another one, but not sure. We'll see.
So next tour you're going for is what you're saying?
No.
Yeah.
Like way farther in the future, like
No,
maybe like next year,
No.
or maybe sometime Halloween.
You are honestly, when I think about Halloween coming around, there's only like 2 or 3 people I think about, and you're one of them. I know how much you love Halloween and Halloween Rosalina.
Yeah.
He's like your true love. Like honestly, if you could get married to him, you probably would. No doubt about that. Tyler, I mean, how do you move into to like, real peasant life now that you've been king for a little bit?
Well, I'm used to saving, so like I want to save now. Like I'm like I can't spend tickets, but like I can spend tickets. I'm not going for top 10. So like I'm just I think that's a good thing though, kind of, because like I can save now without even thinking about it. That's kind of a good thing in a way. But like Woot said, I might go for it again, holiday tour, because I kind of want like a Reindeer Yoshi badge. I hope they do that maybe. I hoping I might go for it then if they do a Reindeer Yoshi badge. But I'm kind of gonna do casual. Like I'm gonna play casually. Like I'm just gonna do ranked, and that's it. I'm not gonna go for like top 100 for a while, because I play a track for like 30 minutes. I'm burned out because of last tour. Like I can't play a track for long without being burnt out. So that's where I'm at for sure. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Can I mention one more thing?
Yeah,
So everyone knew that I was saving for a Rosalina badge like for so long. Like I kept saying it. I want a Rosalina badge so much, and then so we got the Poochie tour, like Yoshi tour with Poochie and everything, and I made this my ACR tour. Well, I kind of like predicted, I was like, I have a feeling that Rosalina Volendam is gonna return next tour, and she's gonna be on the ACR badge. And I was like, because there's no coincidence that her whole set randomly gets buffed in the Yoshi tour, because that usually means that that the drivers are going to return the next tour. Well, when the reveal came out, Volendam Rosalina was like shown as one of the next tour drivers returning, and all of a sudden I started getting a bunch of pings from people saying like, "Oh my God, you just you spent all your tickets this tour, and now Rosalina badge is finally coming, and now you're not gonna get it." And I was like, it's okay. I enjoyed this tour. Next tour is just gonna be all city, and my investments would have been really bad, but it does suck that it's likely gonna be a Volendam badge, and I won't be able to get it now. But thankfully, like it ended up being towed. Like I was like getting a little upset, like not upset, but like a little I was a little pissed off that they did it like right after, but then ended up being towed. So it was kind of like a relief. Like I didn't have to like worry about like doing a double ACR.
Yeah. No, you should be really glad. Because
Yeah.
I've done that. I finished 11th and then I think 12th and then 11th or 11th and 12th.
Yeah.
Last year when I made all those investments, I was so close. Like I just keep going, just keep going, just keep going. And like you just keep going, you keep going forever, man. Like thing is like when you have those investments, that's why I was curious. So it's like so much to hear, like what's life after top 10? Because there is like this like thought like, oh, I invested all this. Like now what? Like now I have like all these investments and all these things, and they're like all peaking this tour. But also, I'm pretty excited about this upcoming tour. So we have a Bowser tour. We have, these 4 me, koopaling. But like, I'm really excited about this upcoming tour because we just had a city tour or a nitro tour and then a city tour. So like, and it came out like the nitro tour. And I'm curious about which thoughts are like nitro items and like how those investments will pan out over time. And I'm sure they'll get other buffs, but like they start out with like 9, 10, sometimes even 11 tracks that may never come back anytime soon. And so like, but they also have 2 tracks, 2 new sets of tracks. Like we're talking about like 6 new tracks coming out on a tour, and usually most of them in ranked. Like I don't know how much stock you can put into some of these investments. So like, how do you guys feel about a Bowser tour coming up? It is awesome. Well, maybe we'll start there. What do you guys think about this new Bowser track from watching the video today? How cool is that track? Like to me it looks awesome, but like how psyched are you about it? Or you're like, another Bowser tour? How do you guys feel on the spectrum?
It's actually really great. I mean, apparently we're gonna get 2 new Bowser tracks, like the SNES one and then the GBA
Oh yeah.
Bowser
Yeah,
Castle
forget about that.
And I think we're gonna, and hopefully we'll have all the Bowser Castle tracks. That would be great, honestly. That would be fantastic. And Stud, just remember, don't say the F word. It's not a filler tour. Remember.
That's so me. I'm not gonna use that word anymore. I've already been I can't. Now you have to tell Jeeves. Jeeves likes that word a lot.
But yeah, it's not a filler tour because we're getting 2 new tracks, and it's honestly, I think it's gonna be a really fun next tour. I was a little bit, I mean, at the beginning, I was a little bit disappointed of how they did Bowser Castle 3, because what they did in Mario Kart Wii was that in Bowser Castle 3, it was outside, it wasn't inside, but apparently they didn't do that in tour, which got me really upset about it because it was one of my favorites. But no, honestly, if they can get all Bowser tracks next tour, it's gonna be fun. I would like that.
I'm really
Cool.
excited.
They did all Bowser's. Like, how do you guys feel about that? Like, how many of you think that that's actually what we'll get? Is all Bowser tour, all Bowser tracks,
We'll end up getting all
Bowser Castle
castles.
You're pro all Bowser Castle.
Yeah.
And apparently there's some type of lore. One of them, I think it's the GBA one. Is it the GBA one? With the bomb, and they said it exploded. The track we're getting in Mario Kart Tour is like an explosion.
Oh wow.
What?
It was on Reddit. I seen it, but they said that was the lore. I don't know how true that is, but yeah.
I mean, explosion sounds pretty awesome. So we don't want this explosion. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, I don't care. I think that's pretty cool if it is. But I think it was the GBA Bowser Castle 4 thing.
So tell
Um,
so tell me, so like what has to activate this explosion? I haven't seen that yet.
I don't know. I know in Bowser Castle, I think it's Bowser Castle 4, it was just a bomb that's in the middle of the track. Let me see if I can find it.
Oh wow.
It's a bomb that's in the middle of the track, but then apparently I guess it was speculated that it will be coming to tour next on next Wednesday and or next Wednesday, and apparently somebody like outlined like where it might be for, but maybe we can hear the explosion. I don't think that will happen, but maybe it's just they redesigned the course where the bomb exploded. But for this track right here, I don't know if y'all can probably see. Okay.
Those
Yeah.
let's see.
Oh,
Oh, I see.
Okay. All right.
So I think that's Bowser Castle. Yeah, that's Bowser Castle 4. And somebody speculating that in the next tour, um, that bomb exploded and it's gonna be like parts of Bowser Castle's like, you know, after the aftermath that will be
oh,
driving.
I know what you mean now, because like in the trailer, the track was all like destroyed.
Yeah.
Like the buildings all like the walls were collapsed.
Yeah.
There's like parts of the track that are like up and down, like as if that bomb that you just showed exploded, and like the tour version
Yeah.
is like after there's like post explosion. So we're
Yeah.
basing on a post explosion track. That's
Yeah.
what you mean.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
I'm sorry, I'm not good at explaining things sometimes.
No, that actually makes a lot of sense. Like if something exploded, then that would explain like why there's so much lava everywhere in the Basil's
Yeah, and all the walls are all broken and everything.
also broken. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool. How about you, Cranbo? What do you think about an all Bowser tour, minions going on, things like what if we only had Bowser's Castle's tracks?
Yeah, I mean, I think that'd be cool. I think we saw in the trailer like Airship Fortress and some others are coming back. But yeah, no, I think it'd be cool. I have a feeling that the community might get burnt out on all Bowser, only different variations of Bowser's Castle if it was only that in the tour. I mean, I play regardless, so I tend not to complain. But yeah, I think it'd be cool. I love the tracks, and I kind of like how they. Well, it's
What do
just
you think
like the
about this?
cities,
What
right?
about what do you think about this new alt? This Kart specifically. This was it the gold the one that Bowser Jr. is driving around on
The black sleigh.
yeah. I think
Oh, yeah, that's
I
bad.
thought same with you got a little burnt, like got actually a little burn about it.
Mhm. I
Yeah,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
the
like
black
that.
jingle bells cart. It's so
Yeah.
lazy. It's like, it makes no sense. It's
Yeah.
a random recolor of a Christmas cart or winter cart.
I didn't know if that was real or not, but like, why is that in the like what? I was so confused.
Well, I'm more excited about the Red Off-Roader coming back because I do have that one at
Yeah.
715, and I use that on what Battle Course 1 or whatever it's called. So that's kind of what I was getting at a question earlier. So since that's coming back, I imagine it's going to get some good buffs, and then take it up for battle too.
Yeah, the Red Off-Roader, it went through a weird time period. Like it was really good at first, and then it just died down. I don't know. That was very so. Hopefully, we can see it coming back.
It'll come back. It's gonna make a comeback.
It's
probably.
actually starting to come back. It's getting buffs a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually had a lot of because so all the time whenever I post my video on YouTube, I also post all the slides to Reddit, and I've had a lot of comments on the Reddit off-roader, and I think in general it's honestly it's a great it's one of the safest investments just because of its hitbox, but it did go through like one tour we got like a lot of buffs, then one tour actually it started out really hot. Like it started out like all of the tracks were great. And like
Yeah.
but then like some overlap with like the yellow off-roader, some overlap with the Lightning Streamliner, and then just had like a tour which like was absolutely terrible. But then like the second, like the third tour was like great, and then like the fourth tour was like like meh, and like the next tour was great, and so some of us like are like we don't like is it great, is it meh, and so sometimes like Nintendo's like can constantly just made things amazing. And I think the red off-roader is like great. It's above positive, like it's a safe investment. It's above positive. And when it comes to carts, we have so many options. You really can't go wrong with the off-roader. For me, it's like hard for the top 10 because you're like, man, we have so many options. We got the Moo off-roader, the red off-roader, we got the we have so many, the Blazing Eagle, we have like, even like a camo Tanuki card and like Lightning Streamliners popping back up, and like there's just so many options. So it kind of goes back to what you were talking about a little bit earlier, Wumu, about like say gliders, much easier, right? So like you could invest in like 2 or 3 gliders and do really well with all cup ranking because of like how well they're accumulated, or like I think even when it comes to like tier shop tickets, I didn't put this in like the pre-show questions, but like cart tickets in the tier shop, I'm starting to buy a lot more of because like car tickets, it's so hard, so much harder to fill those gaps. Now, of course, driver tickets, because of the way they're coming out with the Mii's, they've just completely destroyed all the drivers, and so like I'm buying basically every driver ticket I possibly can, but like I'm starting to buy the cart tickets because of how many carts we have and like how hard it is to fill those gaps. And like, like we're now looking at so many, and they've come out with a lot of good meta sized, which is basically all we look at. The meta sized carts that like the blue off-roader, or sorry, blue
off-roader.
Yeah, dude, blue off-roader, how cool would that be? But no, blue crawly cart, like that one's been like the coverage has been okay. But like because it's hitbox, it's been bonkers. Like it's been absolutely insane. But like if you actually take away its hitbox, it's okay. Yeah. But like because it has an awesome hitbox, it's like bonkers.
Okay, one quick question: should we invest in the Moo off-roader or the red off-roader?
Moo, I'll let you answer that one.
I mean, like the yellow off-roader and the red off-roader clash a lot, like a ton. So I would say the Moo because it's newer. It was a commemorative, and I feel like it just gets it just has a long road ahead of it. Versus the red off-roader, it's seen a lot more tracks. It's still getting it's still in its in a buff phase, but like you can just do the yellow off-roader and just cancel out of the red off-roader tracks. I've blasted this long without the red off-roader and I still don't even need it. So I would say the Moo and the yellow are like the best ones to do. But all 3 of them are not bad, like to do at all.
They're like 3 carts, or if you have not invested in them, like the Lightning Streamliner and the yellow off-roader and like the Moo off-roader and like others meta carts, the red off-roader is the best cart you've ever seen in your entire life. But like because it has so many other overlaps with 3 other carts, it makes that one a little bit more like may not be worth it. And here's the thing: is like, would you rather have 1 cart or 3 carts? Like the off-roader is a little older, so like if you had to pick between the yellow off-roader or the red off-roader right now, maybe you pick between the red with like the 4 overlaps that it has. So yeah, it's tough, man. It's like that's where we're in the game. Is like we're honestly playing catch up all the time. Like even like the yellow off-roader, as powerful was, it's still 22 cart, and so and I think that's one of the reasons why I appreciate a lot of your focus, Wumu and Tyler, is like maybe I don't spend so much, What if I just like save my tickets, just go for the thing and just go pass only my way up. For me, like I'm still like getting a couple bundles from time to time just to like get my tickets, because my daily selects are open right now. I still enjoy investing in stuff. but even right now, like I'm in like a phasing, I'm like in a saving mode. I'm actually appreciating saving drivers and carts. Gliders, I'm pretty flippant, but yeah, drivers, I'm gonna take Larry all the way up, man. It's gonna be level 8 triple cap from the get-go. I'm going all in, man. I'm pretty excited about it. Like this is one of those things like I knew right away. I actually don't mind boomboxing as long as, but I'm really, really excited about like the ranked, knowing I don't have to spend so much time. I can just like get my boombox, and if I give something else, that's cool. But like I'll keep winning ranked and keep getting, keep passing on. But ultimately, like for me, it's like I want to enjoy this game when I play. And for me, when I play is like at this point in time, based on my new job, until August 1st, which is our deadline, which we're focusing on. It might be like 10 hours a week. Like it's almost kind of embarrassing. I feel bad. That's why I'm so like living vicariously through you guys. And so I was so excited about this episode because you guys absolutely crushed it. Not everyone can do that. And so, I think a lot of people might be in Cranebo's shoes or in Issa's shoes, or like we're having fun. We're enjoying the game. We're investing where we find joy. But like, who knows? Maybe one day we'll be in Wootmoo's shoes, and maybe if those people want to be there, I'm so excited to get the voice out there. So with that being said, geez, we're coming up on almost 3 hours. This definitely breaks the record for longest time for Kart Talk. And honestly, I feel bad because like this is maybe not the most balanced episode, but like I think anyone walking away from this episode of Kart Talk, I think more than any other episode of Kart Talk, they've learned more about the game, learned more about like how to pace themselves, learned more about balance on their life scale than any other episode that I've ever come out with. Over 46 episodes, which is crazy. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Like, what's one thing that you would like to do in the game this year? And so it's kind of like one of the things I started out early in the year as kind of like a New Year's resolution. If you have something, that's cool. If you don't, totally cool too. But I think I'll kind of start us out as just like, I don't know, in this game, I just want to continue. I just want to continue to enjoy the new tracks that come out, and like when they come out with an Athens track, I want to be blown away. I want to fully exhaust it, and when I am not enjoying that track, I want to move on. And I don't want anything else contributing to. I don't want to feel pressure like I'm spending too much time or not enough time. Like when I feel like done with the track, I want to move on. And even if it means I don't get my run, so be it. I just want to hold myself accountable. And I know that sounds weird. I really haven't like I don't know if I'm articulating it well enough, but I just want to hold myself accountable. Like when I'm exhausted with the track and I have not gotten that run, to step away, I want to be okay with it. And so like this is two tours in a row. I've walked away with a Goomba Misu level 1, and I got a coin banana last tour, and I got a coin, I think it was green shell this past tour. And I'm walking away from ranked completely happy with it. And you know what? No one can tell me otherwise, because it's my game, it's my investment. I just can't invest in any other item. So that's my opinion on I try to give you one example of my contentness, my level of contentness for the game. So I'd love to hear from you. We'll start with you, Cranebo. First of all, say hello to your fans as your second episode, and then like, what's one thing you'd like to achieve this week, this year, or what's one thing you kind of like want to challenge yourself a little bit on, or want to either be content on?
Yeah, so no, I just appreciate you having me on again, being on with all you guys. It's been great, and some great players, and hearing these stories, it's pretty cool. So appreciate it. Yeah, no, I mean, I recently, and again, like with Spy2K being on last week, and he and I were on our first episode together. He and I have kept in touch, and he's, we throw ideas off each other and all that kind of thing. And he mentioned last week he got his first top 1,000, and I did the same tour, and I wouldn't have done it had he not said something. because I've been pretty much just concentrated on rank. I enjoy playing. I've always wanted to try ACR, and I like all the spreadsheets. I appreciate everybody's work that goes into all the data, everything, right? All the normal call outs, all the people out there. But I just hadn't like really taken the time to look at the ACR sheet and just give it a go. And since I've been playing since day one, my load, I mean, I have stuff leveled up and by playing the meta and me game somewhat, even though I'm not super high. I mean, I have the loadouts to, I think, hit top 1,000 each tour based on the projections, even at a lower action count. So that's what I'm going to concentrate on this year. Obviously, I want to keep doing ranked. I got crushed last week because I didn't do the battle track thing. But that's my constant. I want to keep, continuing to try and build up rubies because I've made a lot of bad investments. When the gacha pipes went away, I have shielded speedster and armored rider and all these carts sitting at 1 just because I felt like I had to have them. And now here I am now going out on Mies and I'm struggling to keep afloat with the rubies, but I'm doing okay. So my main goal is ACR. Just keep trying that. And then trying to get better, because sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, I'm not where my action count should be. So that's when I want to try and become a little bit better at holding lines and doing all the right driving tactics. So that's my thing for the year.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, Rainbow. I think in general, all cup ranking, whether you're going for top 1,000 or top 100, is like actually a really fun way to play the game, because I think when people play only for ranked, it's like, man, you're pushing yourself so hard for 6 tracks a tour, and that's like 6 tracks over the course of 2 weeks. And if you're putting like less than an hour a week or something, that makes total sense, right? So I think if you're looking for like a little bit more, there's so many other tracks they include in all cup ranking that are so much fun. And honestly, I love all cup ranking because I'll probably put, out of the maybe 10 hours a week or so that I put into the game, which, to me actually sounds like a little less than it was last year because I was putting so much into it last year. But maybe an hour or two out of that into ranked. And so there's so many other great tracks. So honestly, I think we kind of dog Nintendo from time to time about different things that they do in the game. But honestly, the track development, the track selection, I think other than battle tracks, which kind of have their own little glitches because they're kind of weird and we can kind of manipulate, we're not on a specific route. I think honestly, the regular racing tracks, I give them an A+. I might be dogged for that. I honestly feel like a lot of the tracks that they've given us have been phenomenal across the board. And if they haven't given us the perfect track, they've at least given us a driver that really works well with that track. I love man, it's so tough because sometimes I like the item box really close to the starting line because if I'm in the right perfect spot, there's other times where I like having to bang against if I have a 7, I'm starting item box 3 or 4, and I can kind of have some time to get into 7th, 5th place, whatever it might be. But honestly, I give huge if anyone takes anything away from this episode, I personally thank Nintendo for the development they put into this game to create great tracks. And for that reason, I think all cup ranking is the best way to play this game. I've been playing all cup ranking, getting top 100 almost every single tour except for 4, maybe 5. Every single tour since they've come out with all cup ranking, and I don't get burnt out. I've never said, "Oh my gosh, I can't wait for next tour," because I still feel like, oh man, I could probably crank out a couple extra days this tour. I feel that way every single tour because I do all cup ranking. I think that a lot of people could feel that way if they actually took the time to, I don't know, play more than just the 6 tracks that are in rank. So that's my opinion. You guys can feel free to disagree, but we'll popcorn over to Hero. What would be your word to your fans, and one thing that you'd like to achieve this year, or kind of prioritize as you go through this year?
I guess with regards to this year, it would just be try to have fun with the game as much as you can. After my experience with top 10, it was pretty bad because of like the bad timing with the whole shrimping thing, but at the same time, you know what? It was a learning experience, and it was a great time doing it, even though it was stressful at times. But it was great doing those investments and stuff because it pays off in the long run. And yeah, I don't know. Just continue to enjoy the game. Who knows how long this game will last? You know, personally, I don't know how long this game will last. Maybe within a couple years it might quit. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, just continue to enjoy the game. And I don't have that many fans, but let's be real.
You do.
But with regards to oh God, I lost my train of thought. Oh yeah, well, Kareem's my number one fan for sure. So I love you, man.
Well, I'll tell you what, if there's one person who won this evening, it would probably be Kareem, because he was going to join us for this episode. But here we are, it's like midnight Eastern Standard Time, which would have been like 6 a.m. his time. So I'm sure he's super glad he had joined us for this episode. But no, honestly, dude, Hero, like, you have the skill, man. Like, it's a matter of like when school works out, you have the right loadouts and the right number of item tickets. You'll get it. You'll beat me out to getting top 10. I promise you that. I seriously do. I seriously promise you, you'll get top 10 before I do.
And
You're much
and
more.
also, okay, sorry about that. Just really quick, just big congrats to Wood and Tyler because I watched them grind and stuff, and so it was we had a lot of funsies and stuff. It was really fun seeing them grind and stuff, and like getting their boom boxes and coin box frenzies and stuff. It was really fun. So kudos to you guys because you guys truly deserved it.
Thank
Because
you,
you
bro.
worked really hard.
Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations again, Wumu, and also Tyler. I mean, honestly, I feel like if Tyler, dude, if you'd done this at any other tour, you'd have been like the highlight. Like, everyone would have been praising you. But like the fact that you did this with Wumu, and Wumu stole some of your thunder there. But no, I personally want to congratulate you, Tyler. Singularly, Tyler. Congratulations on
Thank you.
top 10, and not only that, top number 3 individually. Like, that is a huge achievement. What an accomplishment. Tyler, what would you like to say to your fans, and anything that you like have going forward in your career?
I just want to play more chill. Like I want to play more casually. I don't want to, stress about ACR for at least like I would say 5 or 6 months. I want to just chill. I don't want to. I don't want to worry about going for top 100 anymore. Just want to chill. That's basically the bottom line for me.
I like it. I like it. Well, Wumu, if you did not have fans after this episode, I'd be blown away, man. I think there's a lot of people that already gravitated towards you, especially after they heard that you were either gold pass only, kind of plus, and from time to time, or were in Kart Life server and just like listening to you grind, or just hearing you after this episode. Just the fact that you had the resiliency to just keep going. And you know what? Like, you took the time off of work, like very last minute, because of the passion, the thought that you could potentially get, a cool badge, or that you could invest in Poochie. Man, I feel like you fully capitalized what a lot of us are playing this game for. And personally, myself, you were one of the first friends in this Mario Kart court journey. I mean, honestly, I have to give you a huge shout out myself, because I think when I was pulling pipes, I was mainly showing you Knights, like when I was pulling, and like that was the only reason I even created a YouTube channel. So
Yeah.
if nothing else, a lot of you guys who enjoy my channel, you owe a huge thanks to Wootmoo vicariously. So Wootmoo, what would you like to say to your fans, or to my fans, about just like the Mario Kart world, and like as your journey continues going forward?
Yeah. Well, first I want to thank you, Studfit, for inviting me. Honestly, when you invited me, I felt like I didn't have. I think before the top 10, I felt like I wasn't gonna have a lot to talk about, but it ended up being a lot. Like, so much happened, and as I talked about, I also want to thank like all the people who like supported me, and who congratulated me and reached out to me, took the time to say well like see like what I accomplished. Um, if I had to give like any like advice to anyone who is considering doing what I've done, is always keep your you'll always keep your eyes on the main prize, like that, which is mine. What mine was the top 10 badge. Um, as I said before, like it's really tough to save tickets, especially when you're a passionate ranked mode player, and always love to achieve in ranked. If you want to go for an ACR, that's going to be an area where you're going to struggle for ranked, with saving tickets. But once you get around like 50 to 70 tickets of each, just know that you're halfway. You're about halfway there, and there's no point in spending them all when you're like halfway there. Um. I don't really know what else to say. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, honestly, I think I've actually grown an appreciation for saving. There is a tipping point, right? Where like once you start saving, you get in that mode, and it's man, I tell you what, there are a couple items. That's why I asked you about the gold Mew suit as an example. It's like you can't not invest in something that. But the fact that you did not invest in the gold, or sorry, the Moo Moo off-roader, your name is literally Moo.
Yeah.
Like
it was one thing I wanted to do so badly, and I had to wait. But I'm glad it was one of the things I was like forced to do in order to get the top 10 badge.
But that's the thing is like, you know, it just shows you like your commitment to what you were trying to achieve and like what you want to accomplish.
Yeah.
I think that is, if you're a gold pass only or gold class, maybe an occasional plus, you can achieve top 10.
Yeah.
You know, if you have the right skill, you have the right savings, you have the right and you can take 2 weeks of worth of work, and you have friends in your corner. I mean, huge shout out to Auto Drift and to Curtis and Rashid and other people who can help, and DKR, who help us along the way. But I mean, the thing is, like, there's so many people that want to help us out. Like, everyone wants us to win. Honestly, there's some people that like are remain nameless that just will win top 100, top 10 that aren't in the Discord community, aren't in a YouTube community, and honestly, they probably earned it. Like, we don't know. But ultimately, like, if you are in a community and anyone's going for top 10, you can bet everyone in your community is rooting for you and will support you in some way.
Yeah.
And do whatever they possibly can to help you out. So I think that probably kind of puts a little bit of a cherry on top. But before we move on, Issa, what would you like to say to your fans, man? You've been on like now 3 or 4 episodes, and we're all rooting for the horses every time, man. I'll be honest with you, like, we're happy to see you, but like seeing those horses over your shoulder, man, it brings us so much love, so much. I mean, it's a kind of like, it's a kind of appreciation and dedication that we need for this game. They're encapsulated by those 2 horses, just giving themselves a little nuzzle, you know, like a little nose cuddle. Like, that gives us the right appreciation for this game. So, what would you like to say to your fans? What's one thing that you like to accomplish in this game this year?
Well, I don't have fans. To your fans, I'll say thank you for having me. And thank you for allowing me to, express my thoughts and opinions on things going on in Mario Kart Tour. And I also want to congratulate Woot 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 Moo is Woot Woot, right?
Woot?
Okay.
Yeah.
And Tyler.
Just call him number 1 forever.
Number one. And Tyler, for getting top 10, that's a huge accomplishment. Yeah, that's a huge accomplishment for real. But something I am trying to reach for is to get the GOAT meat suit. I was so close, like 5 tours ago. And then I started dropping down in rank, and that's when I was like, okay, I gotta take my investment seriously for real. because I was so close. I was at tier, I think 78. I think, yeah, tier 78. If I was at tier 79, I would have definitely been pissed. But I was at tier 78, and yeah, I dropped down. But I'm building my way back up right now. So I really need that gold meat suit because once I get it, I'm definitely gonna invest in it, and it's gonna be up from there because this year I'm collecting meat suits.
Yeah, man.
I know I said before that I was gonna grind more. I'm like at 231 now, so I think I'm gonna chill out on that. I mean, I'm still gonna like get extra points, but my main focus now is collecting the meat suits. So.
Man, you can't deny this new until they break up the me suits. Like, man,
It's never too late, like you said, stuff. It's never too late.
even for Tyler, it's never too late, man. Thanks you guys for joining. This has been nearly 3 hours together. Can't believe it's been that long. But we had absolute blast. Like, again, like when we're talking about Mario Kart, this is something we're all passionate about. Appreciate all of your attention here, watching the stream. Also to those guests here for taking the time to be with us. I appreciate you all. So with that being said, thank you guys for all. And we'll see you on the rundown. Till then, may the frenzy luck be with you. We'll see you guys.
See ya.